Hello, everybody. Welcome to MCU Park, where we will experience Team Israel take on FDNY here from Coney Island, usually the home of the Brooklyn Cyclones, but today, Team Israel looking to set their tone before they go to the Olympics in Japan just in a few weeks, are going to get their exhibition circuit started here against FDNY. What kind of expectations does this team have going into the next couple weeks in this circuit and then in the Olympics?
You know, it's really interesting in that these games don't matter, wins or losses. It's almost like spring training. It's just to get them warmed up for a 6-team Olympic tournament. When you think about it, only 6 teams will be playing baseball in the entire Tokyo Olympics, and Israel is one of them. Granted, they will go in ranked 6th, and they're capable of pulling off an upset or two. These games are incredibly important for them to get that cohesiveness, to learn each other again. It's been so long since they've qualified for the Olympics. It's going to be really exciting to watch. Don't worry about the results. Just worry about getting timing, worry about throwing strikes, worry about having good at-bats, and carry that through into Tokyo in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and we'll see some old faces. We'll see some new faces. Some of those new faces are Ian Kinsler and Danny Valencia, 2 noted all-stars, at least Kinsler is, coming from Major League Baseball. What can those guys bring to the table?
I mean, so much, right? Ian Kinsler has been an all-star. He's been a Gold Glove winner. He's got a great long history of terrific play in the major leagues with several teams. Danny Valencia, look, maybe didn't have the best career in the major leagues, but he had an awfully good one. This is a guy who's hit 300 multiple times. He can play all over the field. He can hit for power. He's going to be, the two of them are going to be big key factors for this team, just bringing that experience and being able to teach. And what they're giving to these younger guys, and even the not so younger guys, but the less experienced guys, it's going to work wonders and hold them in really good stead for a long time.
Plenty of baseball to be played today, plenty of storylines to talk about. I'm excited to be here with you, Mike. When we return, we will be experiencing Team Israel take on FDNY right here from MCU Park.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention down the field for tonight's ceremonial first pitches. Coming out, Nathan and Zachary Ratner to present. We are proud to welcome Russell Robinson, CEO of Jewish National Fund US, to the ballpark tonight. As many of you know, Team Israel is backed by Jewish National Fund USA as a part of their Project Baseball initiative, a program that is building bridges and bringing America's favorite pastime to Israel. In that spirit, please join me in welcoming Russell F. Robinson. Now we welcome Jeff Ader, who is a huge Israel baseball supporter. Visit his online Jewish baseball museum. Presenting tonight's umpires, at home plate we have Tony Senya, at first base we have Lou Acello, and at third we have Scott Hart. Presenting tonight's starting lineups. First, for FDNY. Batting first, number 25, Kevin Diaz. Batting second, number 6, Mark Gonzalez. Batting third, number 11, Jason Conlisk. Batting fourth, number 15, Joe Procia. Batting fifth, number 9, John Giakis. Number 6, batting sixth, Tommy Resnick, number 22. Batting seventh, Mike Molinini, number 21. Batting eighth, number 34, Dan Quinn. Batting ninth, number 24, Hector Klass. And pitching, number 56, Dean Biget. Now the lineup for Team Israel. Leading off, playing third base, Ty Kelly. Batting second, playing second base, Ian Kinsler. Batting third, playing first base, Danny Valencia. Batting fourth, catching, Nick Rickles. Batting fifth, playing center field, Rob Pollard. Batting sixth, playing shortstop, Zach Penpraise. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, Ben Wanger. Batting eighth, playing left field, Asaf Lowengardt. And batting ninth, the right fielder, Mitch Glasser. Let's welcome the teams on the field and the anthems to be sung by cantor Chaim Kiss.
What's so pale at the twilight's last gleam, and bright stars through the sweet. And the rocket's red glare. That our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the Be'arteinu Eretz Zion.
Come back.
Alfred gives for Patesh. Patesh seeing a lot of time with the starting unit. Give it go! Alley-oop! Gabe Leifert agrees! We got used to saying that. Eitan Halbert taking on a very similar role that his brother and recent graduate Simcha Halbert takes on as Oren Batesh connects on a triple.
Who's the funniest guy on Team Israel baseball?
Matt Soren's pretty damn funny so far.
Favorite Jewish food?
Lots of balls.
Favorite city in Israel?
Tel Aviv.
What does it mean to play in the Olympics?
I flew to Tokyo in 2013 to cast the vote on behalf of Israel to get baseball back into the Olympics. I had no expectation we would be one of the 6 teams competing in the tournament. Unexpected, amazing experience for everybody involved.
What are you guys gonna do in July?
We're gonna medal, baby. We're gonna medal. We're gonna medal, baby.
Oh yeah.
When I was in 9th grade, someone told me to give up on ball. He told me, basketball will only take you so far in life. You're not going to make it to the NBA, he said. What he was missing is that making it to the NBA isn't the only reason why we play. Basketball leaves you with so much more than just the game itself. The life lessons and friendships that are made while playing the game will outlive the game and can last a lifetime.
Funniest guy on Team Israel?
Shlomo Lipitz, you just saw him.
Favorite Jewish food?
Favorite Jewish food? It's got to be latkes.
Favorite city in Israel?
Jerusalem. Yeah, I got family there, and it's special.
What's gonna happen this July?
We're gonna surprise some people.
It's gotta go.
Yep.
Halper gives for Patesh. Patesh seeing a lot of time with the starting unit. Give and go! Alley-oop! Gabe Leifert agrees! We got used to saying that. Eitan Halper taking on a very similar role that his brother and recent graduate Simcha Halper takes on as Oren Patesh connects on a triple.
Welcome back to Maimonides Park, right outside of Luna Park, the beautiful looking amusement park, which has a lot of roller coasters, which I'm a little bit jealous I can't be on right now. We're here to see Team Israel take on FDNY. FDNY starting lineup brought to you by Admissions. The starting lineups brought to you by Admissions. As you start your college journey, make sure you visit us online to check out all of the great virtual events and opportunities we have for YU students and how you too can be a Maccabee. And I'd like to hand it to my fearless partner, Mike Wilner, who will take over play-by-play.
Thank you, Dave. This is a really exciting afternoon for all of us. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Mike Wilner, here with David Schwartzman, and we are thrilled to be bringing you the first of what's going to be 9 warm-up games for Team Israel as they get set for the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Israel is one of only 6 teams that have qualified for the Olympics. They won through the European side, winning the European Championships, and baseball's back in the Olympics for the first time since 2008, and it's going to be very exciting. This is a warm-up tournament. Israel taking on the New York Fire Department, and John Moscott is ready, and his first pitch is swung on and lined into left field. Right field, that's going to be cut off in the gap by Mitch Glasser. A big turnaround first by the center fielder, Kevin Diaz, and he goes sliding back in, and we are underway here. 1 pitch, 1 base hit, and that's got to be a pretty big moment there for Kevin Diaz, getting a base hit off of a guy who pitched in the big leagues, John Moscott with the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, Diaz looking first pitch swinging there and lofting one right into right field. Thought about a double, but thought wiser to just keep it into a soft single.
Mark Gonzalez is bunting, and he pops up the first bunt attempt, and it goes right over the backstop.
Yeah, and we're sitting just behind where that, about 30 feet behind where that ball just went upward. So it's possible that we see some action like that a couple of times here today.
Yeah, we might get a ball here in the broadcast booth at Maimonides Park, home of the Brooklyn Cyclones. Diaz takes his lead off of first. There's a swing and a ground ball towards second. Ian Kinsler has it. Throw to second, one back to first. Not in time. Gonzalez able to beat out the double play ball, but you got Ian Kinsler and Zach Penpraise, and Kinsler a multiple gold glover at the major league level. First of all, that thing wasn't hit that hard. I didn't think they were going to have a chance to get 2. And I wondered whether Kinsler might even just take the out at first, but good for him to get the lead, and Penpraise with a good strong throw almost gets Gonzalez.
That was that major league experience from Kinsler, knowing that timing so well, being able to go to second to get the out, the lead runner.
Here's Jason Conlisk, and I'm going to mess that up, I'm sorry. Conlisk takes the first pitch strike from Moscott. Conlisk played at Fordham University and was drafted by the Montreal Expos almost 20 years ago. Playing now for the New York Fire Department. Takes a ball called by Tony Senia, the home plate umpire. Louis Cello is the umpire at first base. Scott Hart, the third umpire. He's at second right now. He'll be at third with nobody on. The top of the very first inning of this 9-game pre-Olympic warm-up. There's a ground ball up the middle. Could be 2. Penpraise will take it himself. Step on the bag, and the inning is over. John Moscott, after giving up a single on the first pitch he threw, it's a couple of double play grounders. The second one is turned, and we're going to see Israel at the bat in the bottom of the first.
Halper gives for Patesh. Patesh seeing a lot of time with the starting unit. Give and go! Alley-oop! Gabe Leifert agrees! We got used to saying that. Eitan Halpert taking on a very similar role that his brother and recent graduate Simcha Halpert takes on as Oren Batesh connects on a triple.
Funniest guy on Team Israel.
Shlomo Lipitz, you just saw him.
Favorite Jewish food.
Favorite Jewish food? It's got to be latkes.
Favorite city in Israel.
Jerusalem. Yeah, I got family there, and it's special.
What's going to happen this July?
We're gonna surprise some people.
It's got to go on.
Yep.
Are you a fan of Jews in sports? Tune into Max Live to watch the nationally ranked Yeshiva University Maccabees basketball team put their 36-game win streak on the line this upcoming season. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at MaxLive for updates, and check out maxlive.com for all the latest news and content. I'm Mike Wilner with Dave Schwartzman. We are here at Maimonides Park on Coney Island in Brooklyn, New York, as the Israeli Olympic team starts a warm-up tournament for the Tokyo Games that get underway in less than 2 weeks. It's the bottom of the first inning, and I think, Dave, John Moscott only threw 7 pitches in the top of the first. They're going to have to get him a little more work to get him tuned up.
Yeah, and we got a great sense of kind of what this team is about, especially with that up-the-middle defense from Ian Kinsler. So a soft hit ball where he really was able to have that wherewithal to get out the lead runner at second, and then a tailor-made double play to short for Pempraise, who took it himself. But so far, we're seeing some great up-the-middle D from this Team Israel squad that has that Major League experience with Ian Kinsler, with Danny Valencia, with Ty Kelly. So far, good to see from the Israelis.
Yeah, and that's a big league infield. Danny Valencia is at first, Ian Kinsler at second, Ty Kelly at third today. And we saw a couple of very nice plays from Zach Penpraise, who was playing shortstop with these guys. Played 2 years in the minors for the Philadelphia Phillies, and then played 7 years in independent ball with Fargo Moorhead. James McGee is on the hill for FDNY out of Bayside, New York. Played at Queens College. Tall, slim righty. And he misses with the first pitch to Ty Kelly, former New York Met, former Toronto Blue Jay. Ty Kelly said he'd retired from baseball this winter, but here he is playing for Israel, and he takes that pitch high. Ball 2-0. Again, just by way of introduction, my name is Mike Wilner. I was a broadcaster for 2 decades with the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League. Now a sports writer and a columnist, and just thrilled to be back behind the mic for the first game that I've broadcast live and in person since March 12th, 2020. Spring training, when everything got shut down that day. And last year, called games off a monitor in a studio. This is just so much better.
And the irony of all that is our monitors here aren't even working. So we have the real game in front of us, no monitors. You're used to calling it off the monitor, no game in front of you.
Couldn't call it off a monitor even if we wanted to right now. Kelly's got himself in a very good hitter's count. And the pitch is inside, ball 4. Ty Kelly showing that patience at the plate that we did see in his very brief tenure in the major leagues. Dave, it's one of the, Ty Kelly, one of the few Blue Jays who has suited up for the team but never got into a game. He was only a Blue Jay, I think, for 3 days Saw him in the clubhouse a few times, but never got to know the man, and I'll see him play more here than I did in
and
his
he
whole
spent
big league
he
career.
spent most of his time with the Mets. Gritty middle infielder that always seemed to be able to put the ball in play
Yeah,
and get on base.
scrappy guy. Ian Kinsler takes the first pitch inside. So Team Israel here going to make James McGee throw them strikes. There is one, and Kinsler takes a look at it. Ian Kinsler played 14 seasons in the major leagues with the Rangers, the Tigers, and at the end, the Red Sox, Angels, and Padres. Won 2 Gold Gloves. All-Star 4 times. He swings. It's a fly ball to deep left field. Gonzalez going back just in front of the track. He'll pull up, make the catch, and Kelly goes back to first base. It's windy here, and the first thing you do when you see a fly ball that's hit well to the outfield that doesn't go as far as you thought is you look at the flag, and the U.S. flag just right of dead center seems to be blowing in from left center field. We're right on the water here, right at Coney Island. One of the best views from behind home plate of any ballpark, major league or minor league.
I'd be remiss to mention, since you brought it up, my father always taught me to watch the outfielder on that play. Gonzalez ranging back easily.
Danny Valencia at the bat now. Yeah, that's what you do. The outfielders will more often than not tell you where the ball is going. And we can certainly feel that wind up here in the broadcast booth in our faces. Kelly is not taking much of a lead off of first base. Wants to let Danny Valencia swing the bat a little bit. Nice block on the ball in the dirt by the catcher, Joe Proscia. Setting up the defense for the FDNY team, Tom Resnick is at first base. Jason Conlisk at second. The shortstop is Dan Quinn. John Giakis is the third baseman. The outfield from left to right. Mark Gonzalez, Kevin Diaz, and Mike Molinini. James McGee pitching to Joe Proscia. And again a ball in the dirt. Kelly sees it hit the dirt and heads down to second base. A throw is late, a wild pitch. And that was well sniffed out by Ty Kelly. Saw the ball in the dirt, took that good hard first step, and then when he saw the Proscia didn't come up with it cleanly, off he went.
Yeah, and Ty Kelly, you're going to get someone who's going to manufacture bases. Get from one base to the next. Walk turned into being at second base in scoring position. So you got first out, for one out, and a man on second, and a great RBI opportunity.
Kelly will, as they say, leave it all on the field. Valencia takes inside, and now it's 3-0, and McGee having a hard time throwing strikes. But look, this guy's pitching against big leaguers. This is the third straight major league ball player he's faced. That heart's got to be pounding. As much as it's just an exhibition series for Team Israel, those are big games for the opponents. Valencia takes up and away, 3-0, and that's the second walk. Danny Valencia, a long major league career with many teams, Twins, Red Sox, Blue Jays, A's. Lots of stops along the way for Danny. And now he's aboard for Nick Rickles. Seven minor league seasons. The Oakland A's organization caught every game in the Olympic qualifying tournament for Team Israel. They are going to lean on him, and they'll have Ryan Lavarnway as well. Not with the team quite yet. He swings at the first pitch, and that's twisting towards the stands, and he'll wind up there for a foul ball. So Rickles, the first one we see jump on a first pitch from James McGee. You don't know when you're going to get a good one. Just underway here in the bottom of the first, and Team Israel threatening already. Rickles fouls one off, same place, a little deeper. The ocean is well beyond the fence in deep right field. There will not be any splashdown hits today.
Well, there are no McCovey Cove
That's right.
esque features here, although it might seem like there may be.
It feels like you could hit the Thunderbolt. I don't think you can, but it feels like it. The big orange roller coaster beyond the fence and left, all the way from left to center field. Pitch is well outside.
I'm sure when Mets players are on their rehab assignments here, a guy like Pete Alonso could probably comes into the game thinking he might be able to tack one off.
Would not surprise. Pete Alonso, last year's National League Rookie of the Year, home run derby winner 2 years ago, pardon me. Last year, didn't happen. The home run derby coming up on tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, Pete Alonso is going to try to retake his crown.
Good luck. He's going to face some pretty big hitters. Shohei Ohtani.
Too bad Vlad Guerrero won't be in attendance.
Half swing by Rickles. He doesn't go, says first base umpire Lou Acello. Yeah, Pete Alonso may have won the home run derby back in 2019, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I think, hit 55 more home runs than he did in finishing second. Vladdy hit 91 homers in the derby. It's a full count now. Runners with big leads, not going. Foul ball back our way, but it's off to our right. It's going to take a very specifically hit foul ball to get to us.
Yes, it will take a specifically hit foul ball, and I'll just note our producer Akiva Poppers, his heart is going to drop every single time the ball comes back towards these monitors in our headsets. So we'll try to get our hands in front of the ball.
Yeah, we'll try to get our heads out of the way of the ball, because again, that very specific foul ball that might be hit near us will be a sizzler. Again, the runners don't go, and again a foul ball. Nick Rickles seen more pitches in this at bat than John Moscott, the starter for Israel, threw in the entire top of the first.
And Rickles has been pushing that ball towards right field. He's hit 3 foul balls on the first base side. So you see maybe there might be a little bit of something extra there where he's trying to put the ball into right field, advance the runners over, and make a productive out.
There's a big gap in right center. Now Kelly stunts off of second, and McGee will step off. Valencia doing a good job keeping his head up. The worst thing you can do as a trailing runner is put your head down when you see the guy in front of you break and he stops. Runners are not going. Another 3-2 is looped to short, and just over the head of the shortstop, Quinn. Kelly went back to second to make sure it wasn't going to get through, but he'll get there. A little floater, nothing for Nick Rickles. Loads the bases. That's the first hit for Team Israel, and the couple of walks move up.
Yeah, and Quinn got a little flat-footed there, trying to go out for that ball. Possibly could have let it, easier said than done, possibly could have let it drop, gotten the out at third and second maybe, but not sure if that was on the mind of Quinn at shortstop.
Yeah, I think that's much easier said than done. The ball behind him, it would have been very, very difficult to just turn back and sprint and try to get. He was really caught in between there. There's almost nothing you can do. I thought he was going to catch it. So Rob Paller will come up. Paller was all Ivy League in 2016, helped Columbia to a couple of NCAA tournaments. Big swing at that first pitch. He was trying to put it in the water.
Or maybe hit the Thunderbolt.
Why not? See what Israel can do here with the bases loaded and one out. Pitch is up and away. They're really working James McGee, and I don't think it's so much a strategy of taking pitches. It's just waiting to get a good pitch to hit.
I think you also have to kind of take into account that they're probably coming into this trying to, with a mindset of we're going to work counts today. Today we're going to work on working counts. Today we're going to work on putting the ball the other way, just like we saw Rickles before. Curious how much that plays its part.
It's interesting because I mentioned earlier it's like a spring training game, but it's also not. The 2-1 is down and in that nobody is trying to make the team. This is the team, so you can work on whatever you need to work on. And you're right, whether it's I'm going to exclusively try to hit the ball the other way today, or I'm not going to swing until I get to strike 2, or all kinds of things to get tuned up for Tokyo. 3-1 is a great count, and the pitch misses low, and it's a bases loaded walk, and that's how the first run of the ball game scores. James McGee has walked 3 of the first 5 hitters he's faced, a single in there as well. Ty Kelly comes in to count. 1-0 Israel. So here's Zach Penprace, who is the lone non-major leaguer on the Israel infield, and he fouls the first pitch off. In the B pool tournament at the European Baseball Championships, Penprace hit .381. That's an astonishing 12 RBIs and 21 at-bats. Former Phillies draft pick with that long, flowing dark locks. Swinging a ground ball up the middle, and that will get through for a base hit. Valencia will score. Rickles getting the wave. The throw is cut. Staying at second is Paller, a 2-run single up the middle by Zach Penprace. Just like he did in the Europeans, he continues to drive in runs. It's 3-0 Israel.
That's just what you like to see. Straight up the middle, getting guys in on 2 guys in on 1 knock.
A good start offensively for Team Israel here in this first inning. Ben Wanger is the 7th batter of the inning. There's only 1 out, and that out was a fly ball knocked down by the wind, hit by Ian Kinsler. Wanger, tuned up to swing that first pitch, fouls it off. A former Yaley All Ivy League first team in his sophomore year and in his junior year. And in his sophomore year, he made the All Ivy League team as a hitter. In his junior year, he made it as a pitcher. Takes a breaking ball for a strike.
McGee's starting to find a strike zone a little bit.
I think it's the first 0-2 count we've seen. Paller at second, Penprace at first. Swinging a line drive to center field. Diaz is there. It's knocked down a little by the wind, but he makes the catch. A bluff towards second for Paller. Wanger hit it hard. There's 2 out. That was well played by Kevin Diaz, the center fielder. It looked like that ball might have been knuckling on him a little bit in the wind.
Interesting, Paller didn't try to test the arm there. Decided to stay back, be a little more conservative.
2 outs, you're already in scoring position. Don't want to make that last out of an inning at third base, but if it had been a little bit deeper, I would wager he'd have gone. Asaf Loengart takes strike 1. First Israeli-born player that we've seen in this game. He fouls that pitch off. Asaf plays at Mansfield University, and this year in 2021 is hitting .290 with 11 homers, 26 RBIs in 36 games. Loengart, the 8th Israeli hitter in this game. Mitch Glasser waits on deck, try to make it a bat-around frame. It's 3-0. The 0-2 is lashed the other way into the netting.
Waiting on the exit velocity from that last one. That was smoked.
That was right over the head of Nate Mulberg, the first base coach. Nate Fish, the king of Jewish baseball, is coaching third base for manager Eric Holtz's team. They'll have another 0-2, and it's lined up the middle softly. Conlisk will get it and beat the runner to the bag at second. And the inning is over, but a profitable inning indeed for Team Israel as they send 8 men to the plate. They score 3 runs on 2 hits, taking advantage of 3 walks. 3-0 Israel after 1.
When I was in 9th grade, someone told me to give up on ball. He told me, basketball will only take you so far in life. You're not going to make it to the NBA, he said. What he was missing is that making it to the NBA isn't the only reason why we play. Basketball leaves you with so much more than just the game itself. The life lessons and friendships that are made while playing the game will outlive the game and can last a lifetime.
Funniest guy on Team Israel.
Shlomo Lipitz, you just saw him.
Favorite Jewish food.
Favorite Jewish food? It's got to be latkes.
Favorite city in Israel.
Jerusalem. Yeah, I got family there, and it's special.
What's going to happen this July?
We're gonna surprise some people.
It's got to go.
Yep.
Josh Zeid is the new pitcher for Team Israel in the top of the 2nd inning with a 3-0 lead. John Moscott unofficially only threw 7 pitches in the top of the 1st, giving up a single and then getting a couple of ground balls, one of which was turned into a double play. So really, Dave Schwartzman, not much of a workout for John Moscott.
Yeah.
I fully expected to see him back in the 2nd.
Yeah, if you want to talk about efficient innings, that's in the dictionary definition of an efficient inning. And what was great about that was the soft contact to Kinsler, although they weren't able to turn 2 on that play. Kinsler was able to make the play, and that's exactly what you like to see from a guy like Moscott, getting that soft contact to those middle infielders. And then the laser shot to Penpraise, which was taken by himself for a double play. So efficient inning, and we'll see what Zeid has here.
Josh Zeid will face Joe Proscia, the FDNY catcher, and a good hard fastball right on the outside corner to start it off. Zeid is 34 years old. He was an all-star at the World Baseball Classic in 2017. The only player on a team that was out in the 2nd round that was named to the all-star team. Pitched 10 scoreless innings, got a win and a couple of saves. Currently works for the Chicago Cubs in player development, but he's put down the clipboard to come back and pitch Israel to the Olympics. He's ahead in the count 1-2 against Proscia, a Brooklyn native who played college ball. The FDNY team, first to face Israel in this tournament. There's a swing and a miss, and he went around on a high fastball, and Zaid strikes out Prosha to start the second inning. As the scent of Nathan's hot dogs wafts through the air here at Maimonides Park, John Giakis comes to the plate.
Just a week ago, many hot dogs were being consumed just around here by Joey Chestnut, breaking his own record.
Is that a sport?
That's like asking, is bowling a sport? The same idea.
Bowling's a game.
Hot dog eating then might also be a game.
Yeah, I had great debates about this in my youth. That pitch is fouled into the parking lot. Look out. That's a parking lot not just for the ballpark, but for the people enjoying this Coney Island beach and boardwalk. Somebody may have a souvenir in their front seat. Hope they left the window open. Zaid misses away with that pitch. Giakis played at Fairleigh Dickinson. 5 years ago he graduated after hitting .345. Zaid misses up and away. Going to be a very important arm for Team Israel come the Olympics, as that one's hit into the parking lot as well.
Now that genuinely might have been in my car. I think that's right where I was parked.
Yeah, see, I didn't realize the layout of the ballpark, but you got to hit one pretty deep to right center foul to get me. I think I'm safe. Zaid pitching from the stretch exclusively, and just as I mentioned, deep to right center.
That just missed some cars. I see where that went. That was right in the middle of a bunch of cars.
Took a couple of big hops off the concrete. It missed a couple, but it might not have missed the last one. There's strike three called. Gorgeous pitch from Zaid. Picking the inside corner.
However well these guys pitch today, being able to throw strikes will translate today, tomorrow, and during the Olympics. So that's an amazing sign coming from Josh Zaid, getting a guy looking like that, being able to throw strikes in strikeout counts.
Yeah, Zaid is going to be a big key, and you're absolutely right. This is what you're working on right now, your command. As he misses with the first pitch to Tom Resnick, who is the first baseman today for FDNY, the New York City Fire Department. Resnick is one of three brothers who are all firefighters. Take a big hack right there. His dad, a police officer in New York. Big left-handed hitter. The FDNY are running with a 10-man lineup for this game. They have an extra hitter at the bottom. Team Israel going the more traditional 9. But they will ferry players in and out on defense throughout the afternoon. No rules here. Well, I mean, some rules, but no rules as far as players coming back and forth and that sort of thing. We're likely to see guys like Kinsler and Rickles and Ty Kelly only play about half the game on defense, though they will hit the whole time. 2-2 pitch is fouled off, late on a fastball. We're here at Maimonides Park, which was the site of big win for Israel, the World Baseball Classic. Last time out, and Zaid strikes out Resnick and does it relatively easily. He's forgot the rosin bag. He's got to go back and get it for COVID rules. So Josh Zaid strikes out the side in order, and we're headed to the bottom of the second inning with Israel up by 3.
Who's the funniest guy on Team Israel baseball?
Matt Soren's pretty damn funny so far.
Favorite Jewish food?
Lots of balls.
Favorite city in Israel?
Tel Aviv.
What does it mean to play in the Olympics?
I flew to Tokyo in 2013 to cast the vote on behalf of Israel to get baseball back into the Olympics. I had no expectation we would be one of the 6 teams competing in the tournament. Unexpected, amazing experience for everybody involved.
What are you guys gonna do in July?
We're gonna medal, baby. We're gonna medal. We're gonna medal, baby.
Oh yeah.
Pretending to take it back by Leipert. Give it to Terrell. Terrell! Dips right, Terrell, 2 more!
Mitch Glasser's going to lead off the bottom of the second for Team Israel. James McGee still out there after a rough first. Issued 3 walks, threw a wild pitch, gave up 3 runs. Glasser, a Team Israel veteran, played at the Africa-Europe Olympic qualification tournament last year. Hit 200, drove in 6 runs though. Had him as a guest on the Israel Baseball podcast with Frankie Sachs. Glasser was terrific. Talked about being at second base when Danny Valencia at first looked over to him and said, "Hey, we're going to the Olympics." He lashes one foul. This was in about the 4th inning of that final game. They were up 11-0, 7-0, something like that. And Valencia, with that twinkle in his eye, didn't jinx it. Israel wound up winning. They are one of only 6 teams that will play in Tokyo. Glasser fouls that one off. Israel will be in Group B with USA and South Korea.
I'd say that's a hard group, but I don't think there's any way out of that.
There's no way out of anything. Whoever you're in with, it's tough. There's a fly ball into deep left center field. Gonzalez turns his back. He reaches up at the track, and he can't get it. Picked up by the center fielder Diaz, fires it back in. Mitch Glasser's got a leadoff double to start the bottom of the second.
Yeah, and that ball was smoked. Gonzalez, sun in his face, didn't really get to it. Tried making the basket catch, went to the wall, and Glasser showing off a little bit of power there to left center.
Yeah, some unexpected pop there from Mitch. Turned the lineup over for Ty Kelly, who walked to start things off for Team Israel. Israel beat South Korea, a huge upset at the World Baseball Classic. As Kelly takes a strike. The other group is host Japan with Mexico and the Dominican Republic. Only 6 teams. So Israel's got the 50-50 chance at a medal, sort of. There's a shot. Deep right field. That'll get over the head of Molinini and off the wall, but foul.
Just foul.
Just foul. 325 down the line, and it just curved foul late. Big swing from Ty Kelly, 3-year big leaguer with the Mets, Phillies, and Blue Jays.
Announcement that there will be mincha at 5 at the kosher stand. Only something you would hear at an Israeli baseball game.
That's for sure. 0-2 pitch bounces in the dirt. The catcher Prosha can't find it, so easily to third is Glasser. Second wild pitch of the afternoon for James McGee. And now a runner at third and nobody out. So the fire department will bring the infield in. Israel up by 3. Pitch misses way up and away. Lots of room for Kelly to stick handle it through a drawn in infield. Hit the ball hard, and unless it's right at one of them, it's going to get through. And he pops it up. But that's in shallow left. The shortstop going back, Quinn, will have a play. And he makes the catch. Those pop-ups can be really tough when the infield is in. And the sun made it even tougher. You saw Quinn facing third base to make that catch.
An awkward position for Quinn there. Not only the sun playing a factor, but there's a bit of wind. That was a very strange angle to take at that fly ball, but it worked for Quinn. He got the out.
That was the only way you would think he could see the baseball. So now it's Ian Kinsler. Hit a deep fly ball to left his first time up, which was last inning. Kinsler, a 14-year major leaguer, won a World Series with the Boston Red Sox in 2018. Now he swings and he hits a shot to deep left field again, and again the wind will knock it down. Gonzalez makes the catch. Glasser will tag from third and score easily. Sacrifice fly for Kinsler makes it 4-0. And that is the second ball hit by Ian Kinsler in as many at-bats that looked like a home run off the bat and knocked down by this wind here on Coney Island.
The ball just pops off the bat a little differently for Kinsler than it does for some other of these guys.
That's very true. 257 major league home runs. Now Danny Valencia, 9-year big leaguer. Takes a pitch low. He hit 96 home runs in the major leagues. A career spread over 7 teams. He hits a high fly ball to left. Gonzalez trying to find it in the sun, and he does. Comes in, makes a catch, and the inning is over. So a much better inning for James McGee in the second, but it starts with a leadoff double that gets wild pitch to third and scores on a sac fly. Through 2, it's 4-0 Israel.
Mazal. Yegi, Ratzon, Milfanet, Ha, Ani, Ho, Ani, Ani, Ho, Ani, Ani, Ho, Ani, Ho. Ani, Yerushalayim, yeah, Ani, Ho, Ani, Ani, Ho, Ani, Ani, Ho, Ani, Ho. Ani, Yerushalayim, yeah.
Welcome back. David Schwartzman, joined by Mike Wilner from MCU Park in Coney Island in Brooklyn. It's the Israelis 4, FDNY nothing on this beautiful Sunday afternoon in mid-July. Jonathan Desmarte takes over pitching duties for the Israelis. Marte signed with the Cubs in 2020, was released just after that in 2021. And so far, the Israelis have had a commanding lead and have commanded quite a bit of this game, drawing walks with a sac fly from Ian Kinsler. And glad to be joined and grateful to be joined by manager of Team Israel, Peter Kurtz. Pete, how's everything going?
This is Eric Holtz, the manager of Team Israel. Peter's the GM.
Eric, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Doing well. What's the experience been like managing for this team over this past year or so with the Israelis?
Well, it's been great. I mean, the entire time has been just an incredible blessing to be involved with this. It's been 4 years now. Obviously, with Corona and COVID pushing everything back for a year, that was one of the biggest challenges that we had to deal with. But other than that, I'm just happy to be back with the guys.
And the guys are doing a great job so far. Eric, Mike Wilner up here with Dave Schwartzman. So far, so good today, but we were kind of wondering what kind of tune-up this was for John Moscott throwing 7 pitches and Josh Zide getting the side pretty clean. Is this what you want to see from them, quick in and outs from your pitchers this first game?
Yeah, to start at the beginning, I mean, that's kind of what we're looking for. We want the guys to get a feel for the ball, feel for all their pitches. This is day one for them. As we, proceed with a lot of these warm-up games, we'll extend them to 2, 3, 4 innings just to get them ready for Tokyo.
Guys like Ian Kinsler and Danny Valencia, 2 of your newer names to this team, what have those guys meant to the leadership and overall for the squad?
Well, I mean, having guys like that, are invaluable to this team. I mean, Danny was with us in 2019 and, was just tremendous in the clubhouse and on the field. Adding a guy like Ian Kinsler with 14 years experience in and out of the dugout, in and out of the clubhouse it's awesome for the team. He's, heck of a ball player, but he's a better human being, and it's just a pleasure to have him around.
Must be interesting as a manager with the top 3 guys in your batting order are all big leaguers. For them to have the experience that they do, it's almost like you have 3 extra coaches on the infield.
Well, no question. I mean, and that's the beauty of having guys like that, because the younger guys are learning from them on a daily basis. We have staff meetings, but I also have meetings with the players to see what they're picking up, and if there's stuff that, based on their experiences in the big leagues that, they may be able to add even for me and the coaching staff. So, great to have them.
For this team to be successful, that's obviously going to take a lot of hands. Is there anybody on the team that's kind of caught your eye, maybe isn't such a big name like Ty Keller or Ian Kinsler, but has performed well and someone that fans can kind of look out for?
Well, the beauty of this team is there's no one guy that we rely on. Everybody plays a part. There's no ego here. Everybody understands that, we're playing for the name on the front of the shirt here. Nobody's playing for a contract. So everybody kind of knows their role and knows their part, and, they're just really doing what they're asked. Really whatever we ask of them, they're happy to oblige.
And that does say so much, especially playing for the name on the front of the jersey. You're a guy who's got a lot of experience with, with the Maccabiah games, even though it was Team USA as opposed to Team Israel. But there are a lot of guys who come to this later in their professional life who don't realize, you know, they sort of find their Judaism when Israel calls for the first time. And to have so many of them answer the call and really get behind it when, you know, I've talked to a couple of these guys on the team where 5, 6, 7 years ago they had no connection at all to their Jewish heritage. It's got to be a really special bonding thing for the group.
Well, you know, that's probably one of the greatest things about this team. You know, being Jewish and a lot of guys here are not religious per se, but this has made everyone grow closer to their heritage and their history. You know, what these guys had to do, it's not like Israel's just handing out passports, right? I mean, to go through the Aliyah process to be part of this. And then if these guys played pro ball, they may have been lucky to have one other Jewish guy on their team. And they're surrounded by a team of Jewish guys. And it just makes it so much more special. And you know, having Shabbat dinners together and just talking about what it meant as you know, a country to be able to go to Germany and play in Germany and compete in Germany and beat Germany in Germany. It was just, you know, it's incredible, and everybody understands what it takes.
Thank you so much, Eric. Dan Quinn goes down swinging as we head to the bottom of the third. It's Israel 4, FDNY nothing.
Who's the funniest guy on Team Israel baseball?
Matt Soren's pretty damn funny so far.
Favorite Jewish food?
Matzo balls.
Favorite city in Israel?
Tel Aviv.
What does it mean to play in the Olympics?
I flew to Tokyo in 2013 to cast the vote on behalf of Israel to get baseball back into the Olympics. I had no expectation we would be one of the 6 teams competing in the tournament. Unexpected, amazing experience for everybody involved.
What are you guys gonna do in July?
We're gonna medal, baby. We're gonna medal. We're gonna medal, baby.
Oh yeah.
Bottom of the third, Israel with a 4-0 lead as Nick Rickles gets up to bat. New pitcher for FDNY, Brendan Mulligan of Bellerose, New York. The Hofstra University product. College career stats 2-4 with a 6.20 ERA. Rickles comes up with a single already today and looking to add on and get the inning started with a bang as he knocks one down the third baseline foul.
It's just out in front of that pitch. Team Israel seeing a lefty after a couple innings of a right-handed hitter. There's no ball people down the lines. So the left fielder, Mark Gonzalez, had to go chase after that. Rickles hit that little floater just over shortstop in the first inning that wound up loading the bases.
Rickles doing a good job himself in relief of Ryan Lavarnway, who is set to be the usual starter at catcher as a pop fly. As that one's caught by by Resnick.
That was a big league pop-up right there by Nick Rickles. It's a tough sky, it's a tough wind, and you saw Resnick sort of stagger underneath it. I think it's fair to say these guys aren't used to catching balls like that. It's not all hard hit line drives, but it's those, as they say, home run in an elevator shaft that can give an infielder some trouble too.
So here comes Paller. A walk where he brought in a run for Team Israel. Just some chin action there from Mulligan.
Telling that left-handed hitter not to lean over the plate. Oh.
And there he's hitting the head.
It's a curveball. Paller barely noticed, so.
So after coming up and in on the first pitch, Paller gets hit in the head. So with one out, Paller's at first, bringing up Penpraise. He is 1 for 1, 2 RBIs. Hit one up the middle to score 2 in the top of the first.
After seeing that hit batter, I'm no longer sure that the first pitch was intentional. Mulligan missing a lot, arm side. And maybe for him it's that heart pumping kind of quickly, pitching against an Olympic team with some pro players on it.
That one's hit down foul, though. Third base line. Team Israel in the first of 9 exhibition games in their circuit against FDNY, leading 4-0 in the third inning. That one's hit to the right side. Base hit into right field. Paller will stay at second. And there's Penpraise's second hit of the game. He's 2 for 2.
That was very well hit. A quote-unquote nice piece of hitting. He found the hole on the right side and just sort of bounced it past Conlisk. No chance for anybody. So 2 ground balls, 2 base hits for Zach Penpraise.
And we're not going to see major league shifts here in this game with the Israelis and FDNY, but it was good to see Penpraise knock one the other way against the second baseman, who is just up a little more middle. That one's called to a strike to Wenger. That one's hit into center field, although caught by Diaz. That's 2 away. So first and second, 2 out. And Loengart will be the batter for the Israelis.
The left fielder, Loengart.
Asaf was the final out of that productive first inning for Team Israel. Hit that ground ball to second. He is the only Israeli-born player in this game.
Many players here for the Israeli team playing due to relatives who are Jewish, thus obtaining or having the ability to get citizenship. And we heard from the manager, Eric Holtz, who was talking about how these guys feel a great connection to the state of Israel. So that one's nice off-speed pitch there from Mulligan. 1-1.
And Loengart's eyes got big there, but couldn't make contact with it. Yeah, it really is. It's different, obviously, for the Olympics than it is for the World Baseball Classic. I think the rules for the World Baseball Classic are that if you have one grandparent who is a citizen of that country, you can play for that country. Not so much the Olympics.
As that one, another good off-speed pitch. Mulligan there doubling down on that curve. And so Loengart finds himself behind 1-2. And many of these guys just feel a connection, just like you're saying, with even citizenship or not. As that one gets away, from Prussia. Runners move over. And so many of these guys feel a connection to Israel, you know, having relatives who are Jewish, a lot of them having relatives who were experienced the Holocaust, and this has a little extra meaning for some of these guys to suit up and to wear Israel on their chest.
No question about it. There's a lot of playing for boobies and zadis happening for this Israeli team for sure.
As that one socked, a high fly ball into center field, shallow center field. Coming on is Gonzalez. He makes the catch, and the side is retired. So it's 4-0 Israel as we head to the top of the fourth. But before we go, we're going to send it to S.J. Tannenbaum in the dugout.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Shlomo Lipitz, the longest tenured player on this Team Israel baseball team. Shlomo, just a few quick questions for you. Firstly, what has the experience been like being the longest tenured playing on the team? Have there been any significant changes that you've seen over your tenure on this team?
Let's see, from Pool B in the bottom of Pool B to all the way to the Olympics. Yeah, I definitely think that there's some major changes over the past couple of years, and just happy to be here. You know, it's been a hell of an experience.
Sure. Additionally, we used to be the only native Israeli on this team. You were the only native Israeli on 2 World Baseball Classic teams in both 2013 and 2017. Did you feel a sense of leadership representing being the only native Israeli during those times? And how has that role changed now that there are a few more native Israelis on the roster?
I mean, you know, I try to give to the team, you know, what my strengths are, and basically that kind of link between Israel and Team Israel, trying to give them a little bit about the culture, some background, teaching them word of the day, you know, in Hebrew, kind of going over the tikva, trying to kind of get them feeling a little more invested in the team. And, you know, the few folks that have kind of joined the team just kind of adds to that camaraderie. You know, it's just, it's a really special thing, and I think that's really a big contributor to why the team is really gelling so well.
For sure. Well, from the whole Max Live staff, we wish you the best of luck in this tournament. Looking forward to watching you guys in Tokyo.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Shlomo Lipitz, back to
you. We have Israel 4, FDNY nothing, and Jeremy Bleich on to pitch for the Israelis. One of the more traveled MLB veterans for the Israelis, a first-round pick for the Yankees out of Stanford in 2008. Made his MLB debut in 2018, about a decade later. And notably, part of the Pirates coaching staff currently, where he has taken some time to be a part of this Team Israel, as Hector Klass steps up to bat for FDNY. Bleich, last year in COVID summer camp, would take turns on the mound pitching, trying to get his reps in, not in preparation to pitch for the Pirates, but in preparation to pitch for Team Israel for the Olympics. First pitch to Klass is outside, 1-0.
Yeah, it's a familiar story. It's the same deal with Josh Zeid pitching in the Cubs system while working in their front office.
As that one's hit out to center field, not too deep. Paller's under it, makes the catch, 1 away. So these guys obviously not having, guys like Jeremy Bleich not having such opportunities to get his reps in, but found the mound at PNC Park.
Yeah, and it's terrific that the major league teams are willing to allow them to do this.
As that one's little catches the outside corner, actually. Strike 1.
It's you know, the big league teams are under no obligation to allow their front office staff to throw, to practice, to work to their minor leaguers, but the Pirates and the Cubs with Bleich and Zeid have been more than happy to let them do it, and it's paying off here.
As that one's inside to Begay. Dean Begay attended LaGuardia Community College out of Hoboken, New Jersey. Excuse me, Kevin Diaz. He's 1 for 1 today, the lone hit.
He's getting a good look here at Bleich, who is not a traditional lefty. He doesn't come over the top at all. Not quite a sidearm slinger.
As that one's hit the other way. So Diaz 2 for 2 as he pokes one through the hole between first and second base. Second hit of the day for FDNY. And that sets up Mark Gonzalez with a man on first.
You can see Bleich being extraordinarily difficult on left-handed hitters because of the angle of his delivery. Very, very tough for a lefty to pick up. It looks like it's going to hit him, but it also allows righties to have a pretty good view of the baseball.
That's called a ball on the just a little bit outside. 1-0 to Gonzalez. There's a strike on the outside corner. You're watching Team Israel take on FDNY from MCU Park, part of an exhibition circuit where the Israelis will play 9 different games, not all here, but around the New York, New Jersey tri-state area. That one's over for a strike, and it's 1-2. As Bleich looks to get out of as little of a damage or trouble as this Team Israel has seen on the field. 1-2 to go around. He did not. As that was a close play at first base. Rickles trying to throw out Diaz, taking a little bit too much space there off of first. Looked very close from here. Called safe.
We don't have our monitors to check the replay, but Valencia, I think, thinks he got him. That was a really nice little back pick from Rickles.
And that one's on the outside corner, strike 3 called. So 1 out away from this very minimal trouble that Bleich has found himself in relative to what else the Israelis have seen on the field.
Yeah, it's been Kevin Diaz twice with his couple of singles. Mark Gonzalez replaced him on the bases with an out in the first, but that's been it. Nobody from FDNY even getting past first in this game.
So here comes Konlisk. The Fordham grad. Obviously a great program over there. One of the several MLB draft picks on this FDNY team was drafted by the Montreal Expos in 2002 from a little close to your neck of the woods.
That always warms the heart to hear about Expos draft picks and Expos history, that's for sure.
He even played 3 seasons in the minor leagues. .219 batting average with 8 home runs, 84 RBIs.
You were mentioning the rest of this Olympic warm-up tour, 9 games over 10 days in New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Maryland.
As he tries to throw back to first again, this time Diaz able to get back with a little more time. Not as close this time.
Keep doing it. Keep practicing. If you get one guy in the Olympics with a back pick, then it'll all have been worth it.
It's not quite packed here at Maimonides Park, but a nice little crowd. As a pickoff attempt, and Diaz is going to be thrown out at second. So a nice play by the Israeli defense as we head to the bottom of the fourth. It's Team Israel 4, FDNY nothing here on Max Live.
My story started with a letter in the mail. I took my first steps in New York and felt the energy all around me.
I connected with my Rebbe on the first day of Shir.
My story was learning that the mitochondria is more than just the powerhouse of the cell.
I made my painting from scratch, like really from scratch.
My roommates came here from 4 different countries. We lit one menorah together.
My story was practice every night.
Chavruta every night.
Subway rides, city lights.
In my story, my name was in the headlines.
The bylines. The University Museum.
My story was my internship at the Supreme Court.
Dancing with the Israeli flag in Times Square.
My story was participating in the only hackathon, not on Shabbat.
The Career Center found me my first job at a top business analytics firm.
My story was becoming best friends with my chavruta.
And holding that NCAA trophy.
My story started here.
My story is...
Want to know which baseball players are Jewish and how they're doing? Check out the daily Jewish box score at jewishbaseballnews.com. That's jewishbaseballnews.com. News and stats on Jews with bats. So we head to the bottom of the fourth. It's Team Israel leading FDNY 4-0. Mitch Glasser set to lead off for the Israelis. The only extra base hit was off the bat of Glasser. He takes strike one. He smoked one just over the shoulder, the running shoulder of Gonzalez in left field. Ball outside to Glasser, 1-1. So we've already seen Bleich, Zaid, and Moscot. So a lot of major league experience so far on the mound for these Israelis on top of what we've seen at the plate. So just getting a little taste of that major league experience here so far today.
Yeah, and Moscot, Zaid, and Bleich all faced the minimum. In fact, FDNY hasn't gotten a fourth hitter to the plate in any inning so far yet today. Zaid struck out the side in order, and Moscot and Bleich each gave up a hit. But, I mean, with those guys on the mound, it really is no wonder there's 4 zeros up there on the scoreboard for FDNY.
Glasser worked a walk, so here comes Ty Kelly to the plate. Ty, the former New York Met, Toronto Blue Jay, and Philadelphia Philly. And he's probably played here quite a few times as the Brooklyn Cyclones, who call MCU Park home, have their minor league players usually rehab here as well as come through here on their minor league missions. Ball called a strike on the outside corner to Kelly.
Glasser's taking an interesting lead off of first. He looks like he's leaning towards second. It's a good, healthy lead, but he's leaning back as their Mulligan throws over, trying to get a read against the lefty. I'm not sure he's thinking about running, but certainly making it look like he's thinking about running.
So just as Diaz was in the top of the fourth, as Israel was paying attention to Diaz, here's FDNY paying attention to Glasser, as that one smoked into that parking lot of doom.
And this is the only game here at Maimonides Park for this tour for Team Israel, but if there had been another one on the schedule, we would all be learning where not to park.
Ty Kelly became an Israeli citizen in 2019. said that he credits his grandmother for his connection to Judaism. Two is hit foul. Ty Kelly putting some good swings on the ball. That one's into the lot as well. And Ty Kelly in 2017 played in Marlins Park on a Jewish Heritage Day. And he said that brought him close to tears. Just the meaning behind that is he socks one to left field, but that one's going to be fouled down the line. Hit the little light pole on the left side.
Almost got into the Team Israel bullpen. Yeah, I'm not surprised. You know, I've been fortunate enough to be at a couple of those Jewish Heritage Nights. I was at one in Oakland, one in Marlins Park in Miami as well. And it's just such an unexpected surprise. And it really is, it's very meaningful and heartwarming.
Yeah, and being here from New York, as that one's hit by Kelly, a base hit into left field under the diving Giakis. So Israel setting the table a little bit here, first and second with nobody out. And those Jewish Heritage Days are quite special because I think it's quite rare to feel a connection like that to something as big as Major League Baseball for young fans. And growing up on Long Island, going to Mets games, going to a lot of Jewish Heritage Days at Shea Stadium and Citi Field, there's something extra to those types of games. And I got to see, I believe, Sean Green play for the Mets on Jewish Heritage Day, which was really, really cool. And it always seems like there's one guy on the team that has some Jewish connection, whether that, and I believe I even went to one where Ty Kelly was on the team in Jewish Heritage Day, and you could see it really does mean a little bit something extra. As that one's hit into shallow right, moving back is Quinn. He makes the catch. So one away, first and second for Team Israel.
That by Kinsler was very similar to the little looper fielder's choice over short, or pardon me, the little looper to center by Nick Rickles in the first inning that dropped in over the glove of the shortstop. This time the second baseman was able to get back and make the catch. The first baseman, Resnick, was going over to cover second, so there was no chance to double up Ty Kelly at first.
So here comes Valencia. He takes strike one from Mulligan. He'll try to get Glasser in from second, add on to this nice lead for the Israelis, 4-0 over FDNY. Valencia asks for time. You know, Kinsler, as that one's outside to Valencia. Kinsler, who played so many years with the Rangers, has been seen in this royal blue color so many times. It's a little bit newer to Valencia. Getting the closest he's gotten was with the Blue Jays, but that's a little bit of a lighter powder blue. Especially more recently, they've been wearing that powder blue jersey. As that one socked into left field, just foul. Valencia missing an extra base hit by about 6 inches.
Smiling and joking with the FDNY dugout on his way back. Just foul. Yeah, when Danny Valencia was with the Blue Jays in 2015, the blue wasn't quite that deep. It's true, this is a darker blue, but he got to play a little bit in the blue and white. Did very well for the 2015 Blue Jays, helping them over the first 4 months of the season, and then departed right when they turned the Jets on for the last 2 months.
The 1-2 from Mulligan is high.
That Jays team, the Valencia, was on 50 and 51, and then I want to say 48 and 13 the rest of the way, something like that. Just an incredible August and September where they barely ever lost and went from 8.5 games out at the end of July to winning the AL East by 6.
And was that the Joey Bats bat flip year?
Sure was.
As that one socked out to right center. Over comes Malinini. He makes the catch and gets it in. Glasser unable to tag up on that play.
Glasser wasn't sure whether or not that ball was going to be caught. It was a little too shallow in right field, I think, for him to tag. Yeah, 2015 was the year that Jose Bautista hit that 3-run home run to conclude what was might have been the wildest inning, top and bottom, ever played in Major League Baseball.
And I believe just south of that, Ty Kelly was on a Mets team that went to the World Series. So quite a few ties, or at least one tie to that 2015 postseason on this Israeli team.
Mulligan with a little spin move there, but neither of the middle infielders moved, so not a set play. He was the only one who knew it was going to happen. He's buying himself a little time.
That one's called a strike from Mulligan. That one's socked into left field. That'll be a base hit. Here comes Kelly around third. Glass around third. He's going to score. So an RBI single makes it 5-0 Team Israel here in the bottom of the fourth.
Nice job by Rickles. Didn't do too much. Just hit a ground ball hard on the left side, and Giakis wasn't able to get there. Glasser scores easily, showing some decent speed with 2 out.
That's 2 hits today for Rickles, showing why he should be kept in the fold, even with Ryan Lavarnway on the way. That one smoked foul by Rob Paller, who will join us on the broadcast in a few minutes.
I guess that's a hint that he's going to hit and not go back out to play center field next inning. The outfielders have not gotten a lot of work for Team Israel. Over the first 4 innings, there have only been 3 balls hit out of the infield by FDNY.
That one's not going to be called. So 1-1 to Paller. That one gets away from Prasha. The runners advance.
Thought we might have an inning without a wild pitch, but not so far. 1 wild pitch so far in every half inning for New York City Fire.
So Prasha will talk things over with Mulligan.
Nobody throwing in the FD bullpen, so this inning is Mulligan's.
Paller, who was hit in the head earlier in the game, looks to do a little more damage here and extend Israel's lead just a bit more. That one's outside. So 3-1 to Rob Paller.
Yeah, you'd think he'd like to get an at-bat here. He got a walk, and he's been hit by a pitch. He's 0 for 0 in the game.
And that one's way outside. Here comes Kelly at the plate. He's going to score. So a walk and a wild pitch scores one more. Israel extends their lead to 6-0.
And Powler stays 0 for 0. He hung out at the plate after ball 4 just to direct traffic in case Kelly needed his help, but once he saw that the ball was going to be too far away, started to trot up to first base. He is the only one who's been on base 3 times in this game. Penpro's trying to catch him.
Penpre swings on a pitch outside. He has 2 base hits today, 2 RBIs. As there goes Powler.
I wonder if they were trying to see if they could force Proscia into a throw at second and have home get stolen.
That one's popped up right field. In comes Malinini. He makes the catch, two-handed, and a 6-0 lead for Team Israel here in the after the bottom of the 4th. So as we head to the top of the 5th, 6-0 Israel.
Mentionei my comb, mentionei my zaal. Jiggy, rijd zo'n milfernet. Ga, Annie, ho, Annie, Annie, ho, Annie, Annie, ho, Annie, ho. Annie, Jerusalem, yeah, Annie, ho, Annie, Annie, ho, Annie, Annie, ho, Annie, ho. Annie, Jerusalem, yeah.
Funniest guy on Team Israel.
Shlomo Lipitz, you just saw him.
Favorite Jewish food.
Favorite Jewish food? It's got to be latkes.
Favorite city in Israel.
Jerusalem. Yeah, I got family there, and it's special.
What's gonna happen this July?
We're gonna surprise some people.
It's got a goal.
Yep.
We're in the top of the 5th inning. It is 6-0 Israel leading the New York City Fire Department, and a new pitcher and a new catcher for Team Israel. Caden Rothbaum, the lefty, is on the mound. And Zach Small has taken over behind the plate for Nick Rickles, but Rickles is likely to stay in and continue to hit. Rothbaum falls behind the first hitter, Conlisk, 3-0, and he walks him on 4 pitches.
Caden Rothbaum a little bit of an unknown commodity, so we'll see if he's able to produce here, walking on 4 pitches to lead off the inning.
One of the guys that Team Israel is taking a look at in case they need some reinforcements for the Olympic tournament. Issues the first walk of the game as he's followed shutout innings from 4 Israeli pitchers. Now he's in there with a strike to Joe Proscia. John Moscott started. Then Josh Zide, Jonathan DeMarte, and Jeremy Bleich. Each one of them put up a 0, only a couple of hits allowed and no walks. And there's a fastball that hits Proscia. Didn't even attempt to get out of the way, just stood there and let it hit him. And Zach Small goes out for a word, and now Zach Penpraise, the shortstop, will go in. Just a little breather. For Rothbaum, it is 6-0. And John Giakis comes up. He was one of the 3 straight strikeout victims against Josh Zide in the second inning. Swings the first pitch. It's a grounder to third. Kelly to second, 1 over to first. And there you go. Walk a guy, hit a guy, get an around the horn double play, and you can breathe a lot easier right now with 2 down.
Boy, and talk about a confidence booster from there after not exactly what you want from your first 2 batters faced, but a soft ground ball to Kelly at third and a beautifully tailor-made double play that resulted in 2 outs. We'll see if FDNY can get the runner in from third.
You got 3 big league infielders working on that double play. It's a big help for this young pitcher who misses with ball 1. Are you a fan of Jews in sports? Tune into Max Live to watch the nationally ranked Yeshiva University Maccabees basketball team put their 36-game win streak on the line this upcoming season. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Max Live for updates, and check out maxlive.com for all the latest news and content. There's a pop-up on the infield. Kinsler's got to look at it. He'll make the catch, and the inning is over. So it starts rough for Rothbaum, but boy, does he ever get out of it. Put up another 0 after walking the first batter, hitting the next. A terrific job by the young lefty. It's 6-0 Israel going to the bottom of the 5th.
Who's the funniest guy on Team Israel baseball?
Matt Soren's pretty damn funny so far.
Favorite Jewish food?
Lots of balls.
Favorite city in Israel?
Tel Aviv.
What does it mean to play in the Olympics?
I flew to Tokyo in 2013 to cast the vote on behalf of Israel to get baseball back into the Olympics. I had no expectation we would be one of the 6 teams competing in the tournament. Unexpected, amazing experience for everybody involved.
What are you guys gonna do in July?
We're gonna medal, baby. We're gonna medal. We're gonna medal, baby.
Oh yeah.
Back here at Maimonides Park, Israel's up 6-0. Let's head down to the dugout. SJ, who you got?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Rob Paller, another member of this Team Israel baseball roster. Rob was a league player in his college days at Columbia and is now a valuable part of the Team Israel baseball team. Rob's actually got a very interesting story of how he joined the team, which we're going to ask him about now. Is it true that you received an Instagram DM from Eric Holtz, the manager of this Team Israel baseball team, asking simply 3 words, "Are you Jewish?"
Yes, that is true. The message was a little longer than that. It asked if I wanted to make Aliyah, go get my passport, citizenship, and go to Israel, and then be on the team to go compete in Bulgaria in the European Championship B pool, with hopes of qualifying for the Olympics after playing in 4 tournaments. I said absolutely. I would love the opportunity. I grew up half Jewish. My mom's side is Jewish. Dad's side's Catholic. I was bar mitzvahed and jumped all over the opportunity.
That's amazing. You've also been quoted several times as saying that playing for this Team Israel team has been the best baseball experience of your life. Obviously, you've had amazing experiences playing college, Columbia, all Ivy League honors. So can you tell us a little bit about what has made this experience the best baseball experience of your life?
Oh, man. I remember a couple years ago in the WBC qualifier, it was here, and I was in the stands watching the game. I had a college teammate, Jordan Serena, who was on Great Britain. So I went to go watch him play, and it was against Team Israel. And I just remember the atmosphere was unbelievable, and just seeing what that was like to play for a country. And you know, had a lot of success in college. We won 3 championships when I was there, but wearing a nation across your chest is something unlike any other thing that I'd ever been a part of, and it's special.
Well, Rob, on behalf of everyone at Max Live and the entire Jewish people around the world, thank you so much for contributing your talents and helping us on Team Israel. We really appreciate it, and best of luck in the tournament in Tokyo.
Thank you so much.
Back to you guys in the booth. Rob, all Ivy League player at Columbia. Back to you guys.
Thank you, SJ. We are in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's 6-0, and Ben Wanger is at the plate, and he's ahead in the count 2-1 against the new New York Fire pitcher, Chris Torrens, who is a CrossFit trainer and ranked nationally. He misses up with ball 3. He is a 24th ranked firefighter in the Northeast region in CrossFit competition.
I wish I could say that I am familiar with CrossFit people and trainers, but alas.
Yeah, I know of the CrossFit culture, I guess. But yeah, don't know anyone who's in it. But Mr. Torres looks pretty jacked from here.
Not a sponsor.
More than willing to have you, though. So it's now Asaf Lowengaard, who's 0 for 2. And he hits a line drive foul down the right field line. Lowengaard, now that Wanger has walked, is one of only 2 members of Team Israel who has not reached base safely in this game. He's 0 for 2, and Ian Kinsler is 0 for 2, and that's the shock that 14-year big leaguer with almost 300 Major League home runs takes a caller so far, but still 6-0 anyway, and Kinsler has a ribby with a deep sac fly.
Kinsler's looked great, though. He's put some really nice swings on the ball and hit the ball hard, so it's not as if he looks like he's not able to catch up in his older age.
Older age.
Relatively speaking.
Yeah, it's true. Now, he has hit a couple of deep fly balls to left field, both of which looked gone off the bat but were knocked down by the wind. Torrens misses, and it's 2-1 now. And this is not Asaf Lowengaard, pardon me. Asaf's been pinch hit for by Jeremy Wolf. And that pitch almost nicks the uniform pants of Wolf. So Asaf finishes his day 0 for 2, assuming he doesn't come back in the game, which is a possibility. Wolf played for the Brooklyn Cyclones, so he knows this ballpark well. He swings and fouls pitch off. Drafted by the Mets in the 31st round in 2016, hurt his back. A .367 career hitter in college with a Trinity record 72 doubles and drove in almost a run a game. First team All-American in 2016 in D3. Full count pitch to him is ripped into the dugout and scatters the firefighters who are leaning over the railing. Seems like everybody's okay. Some hearts are beating a little more quickly than they were 30 seconds ago.
Everyone's paying a little more attention now from that FDNY bench.
Wolf made Aliyah in 2018, and in 2019 he moved to Tel Aviv and is a coach. Full count pitch to him again is a line drive into the gap in right center field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. All the way to third will come Wanger. Single for Jeremy Wolf puts runners on the corners with nobody out. And it'll bring Mitch Glasser to the plate, who's 1 for 1 with a double and a walk. He scored twice. Mike Wilner and Dave Schwartzman here with you, and thrilled that you're here with us as Israel kicks off a 9-game in 10 days warm-up tour before heading off to Tokyo to play in the Olympics. Glasser pops the first pitch foul out of play.
So you were saying before that the one way was going to be a scorcher back to us for us to get a foul ball. I think it's probably more likely that we'll get a pop-up, a softer pop-up that clears the netting in front of us.
It's possible that we get a soft pop-up for sure, although this little overhang above our heads is going to make it tough. But what I'm worried about is the scorcher just off like the top of the bat with tons of backspin on it that just clears that backstop and hits us in the teeth.
I'll have to start practicing my reaction speed.
Runners on the corners and nobody out. There's a swing and a line drive into left field. Will it stay up? It will. Caught by Gonzalez, tagging and scoring. The runner from third is Wanger. A sac fly for Glasser makes it 7-0 here in the fifth.
We've seen some hard contact given up by Chris Torres in this inning so far on a hard line drive there.
So back to the top of the order. Ty Kelly up for his 4th plate appearance of the game. He's walked, he's singled, popped up, scored twice. Switch hitter batting left. Has the runner on first. And he takes a strike. With the Coney Island in the background, the amusement park, this is really some kind of view. The Thunderbolt, the orange roller coaster, and that goes all the way from left field to center. The Cyclone in the background down the left field line. That's what the minor league team is named after.
So often in ballparks you get to see skylines across the outfield, and what a unique view, just a roller coaster right there in your face here at Maimonides Park with the ocean right behind it.
It really is something. It brings me back a long, long time as the 0-2 pitch is way up and away to Kelly. Most of my baseball experiences come from Toronto, where I've been covering the Toronto Blue Jays now into a 34th season, and for the first 12 years of the Blue Jays' existence, there's a ground ball back to the mound. Torrens got a chance for 2, but the shortstop can't handle the relay. It goes off of Quinn's glove, and everybody's safe. The throw was a little bit high, but not that high. And Quinn just didn't secure the baseball before thinking about turning a double play. Kelly reaches on the fielder's choice, and Wolf is safe at second on the E6.
And Torres on what was a really hard hit ball probably could have taken another second or two just to set himself, but instead does not and throws it a little bit too high, which resulted in everybody being safe.
Brings up Kinsler, who's 0 for 2 with a sac fly. Takes the first pitch.
Sure, Kinsler in his first exhibition bout wants to put his name on the stat sheet.
Sure he does. 0 for 2. Runners take their leads from first and second. There's a line drive to left field. That's going to get into the corner for extra bases. Wolf will score easily. Kelly will jog into third. And there's Ian Kinsler with his first knock of the afternoon. An RBI double makes it 8-0.
Right on cue, Ian Kinsler showing that power that he still attains. Still has, socking that one down the third base line.
Well done by Ian Kinsler for his first hit, second RBI. And Danny Valencia will come to the plate. So the first 12 years that the Toronto Blue Jays played, they played at Exhibition Stadium, which was, I mean, just a terrible place for baseball. But it was our terrible place. You know, a dump but our dump. And it was played on the grounds of the Canadian National Exhibition. Valencia with a rocket into left field. A base hit. Kinsler getting the wave around home. There will be a play. He slides in safely. A 2-run single for Danny Valencia. Ian Kinsler with a little daring do on the bases right there. Valencia hit the ball so hard, and Gonzalez fielded it well. But he shows off those big league wheels even in his late 30s.
Kinsler showing age is just a number. Scoring from second base on that play. There'll be a conversation at the mound for FDNY.
Chris Torres getting beat up a little bit here and trying not to get that double play ball that was misplayed get into his head. And it's hard not to be thinking about that when an inning is unraveling on you. Israel with 4 runs so far here in this bottom of the 5th, a 10-0 lead for Nick Rickles, the catcher, who stays in the game to hit even though he's no longer catching. And he takes strike 1. So if they would stop driving in runs, let me finish this story.
I'm still waiting to hear about Exhibition Stadium.
Exhibition Stadium was on the grounds of the Canadian National Exhibition, which is an annual fair that only runs for 2.5 weeks every year in late August to Labor Day. So for those 2.5 weeks, the Blue Jays were also playing in the shadows of roller coasters, and they were just temporary. But it really does bring back those memories. There's a fly ball, shallow center field. Diaz coming in, he won't get it. Valencia will just jog to second as the ball's picked up in shallow center by the shortstop, Dan Quinn. Rickles has his 3rd hit and his 2nd little duck snort, but he will take it.
And in terms of tune-ups, I'm sure Eric Holtz is happy to see kind of a dump fly ball like that where Valencia can kind of get back in the routine of taking of running halfway to second on that type of play and making sure that he's, you know, feeling the game again like that.
Yeah, you've only got 9 games, so you're not going to get every potential scenario, but you definitely want as many of them as possible for these guys just to get that muscle memory back working. Batter is Rob Paller, who was our guest in the dugout. His turn to hit has come up. He is also 0 for 0 with a couple of walks, and he was hit in the head by a curveball, but just glanced off of him. Drew a bases loaded walk in the first inning for the first run. It is now 10-0 Israel. They've out-hit New York Fire 10-2. There's been 1 error in the game. Pitch is up and away, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, and you could say all of those 2 hits are attributable to one guy. That's Diaz. Kevin Diaz, supporting all the offense for this FDNY team thus far.
Everybody but Kevin Diaz is 0 for 12. There's a swing and a foul back. There is action in the FDNY bullpen, so Torres not likely to just be hung out to dry here. This is the 8th batter of the inning. He's only managed to record 1 out. It was the sac fly by Glasser. So even the outs scored a run. That pitch is high.
And the result today is pretty much a win-win-win-win-win for everybody. You know, FDNY, whatever happens here, is I think they're just happy to get the experience playing against these guys, getting to come out here. So I'm sure that over the past year plus change over COVID, they probably have not played all that much. So everybody here gets a win, especially Israel, who's very comfortable here up 10-0.
Yeah, it really, I mean, these are the kinds of games that it's just just nice to get back to that semblance of normalcy. I know it's been like that here in the States for a lot longer than it's been in Canada. But just to go out and have a Sunday at the ballpark, as that is strike 3 called, and Paller can't believe it. It was inside, but it's a long inning. And so Torres gets a break from the home plate umpire, Tony Senia.
Yeah, and just like you're saying about the difference between America and Canada, the United States and Canada, it's, you know, I'm an avid hockey fan, and it wasn't quite what I thought it would be when Montreal finally made it to the Cup, getting to see all those fans there. At least they got some. Not trying to bring up any hard feelings about the Maple Leafs.
The Maple Leafs, look, I'm old, and the Maple Leafs haven't won a Stanley Cup in my lifetime, so there are no hard feelings. They're running up on the New York Rangers. I think they passed the Rangers when the Rangers went from 1940 to 1994 without winning a cup. The Leafs last won in '67, so it's been 54 years for them as well. I'm not anticipating the Maple Leafs winning a Stanley Cup in the next 54 years. I'm going to have to make it to Mayave Stream. The 1-1 pitch is hit in the air, shallow in center again. Conless going back, the second baseman's under it. He's got it, and the bat-around inning is over for Team Israel. They score 4 runs on 4 hits and strand a pair. An error helped. It was the first inning that New York Fire did not throw a wild pitch, but the biggest inning for Israel. They're up 10-0 as we go to the 6th.
When I was in 9th grade, someone told me to give up on ball. He told me, basketball will only take you so far in life. You're not going to make it to the NBA, he said. What he was missing is that making it to the NBA isn't the only reason why we play. Basketball leaves you with so much more than just the game itself. The life lessons and friendships that are made while playing the game will outlive the game and can last a lifetime.
Pretending to take it back by Leifert. Given to Terrell. Terrell! Dips right, Terrell, 2 more!
Men's basketball season for Yeshiva is underway.
Division III Yeshiva University.
Yeshiva University Maccabees have won 34 in a row.
Sixth inning here at Maimonides Park on Coney Island. Israel 10, New York Fire nothing. Mike Wilner and Dave Schwartzman here with you on Max Live, and thrilled to have you with us as Israel kicks off a 9-game exhibition warm-up tournament. Tomorrow they will play in Rockland County, New York against the Boulders. Then off Tuesday and a couple of morning games, Wednesday and Thursday, July 15th and 16th, or pardon me, July 14th and 15th, at Dunkin' Donuts Park in Hartford, Connecticut against the Bristol Blues and the Ocean State Waves. 10:30 a.m. Eastern starts for those games.
And if you want to talk about butterflies, Ellie Kligman in this game for Team Israel just threw down to second base at Ian Kinsler. So you want to know the age difference there between Ian Kinsler and Ellie Kligman?
I'm going to guess 21.
21. Yes, 21 years between the two. And that has got to be a butterfly moment for one of the Jewish people's biggest, brightest prospects.
Yeah, Kligman catching Pellman now. The Ellie Kligman can pitch, he can catch, he can play all over the field. He's a very, very exciting young prospect. There's a swing, a line drive into center field. That's a base hit from Mike Molinini. He becomes the first member of the FDNY to get a hit other than Kevin Diaz. A leadoff single against Pellman. Kligman is a very exciting young player. The Major League draft starting tonight. Not expected to be drafted this year or go terribly early, but will head to college, one expects.
He's Kligman, one of two guys in this draft that's being talked about from the Jewish world. Him along with Jacob Steinmetz from Woodmere, New York. If you recognize his name, that's because he's the son of Yeshiva men's basketball coach Elliot Steinmetz.
Pitches inside from Pellman.
And just Jacob Steinmetz has been making headlines for a couple weeks now, building up his draft value. He's been playing down in Florida, prep school for the last couple of months.
Pellman having a little trouble finding his control there, missing up and in. It's going to be very interesting, both Steinmetz and Kligman. A couple of young Shomer Shabbos kids. Something we have not seen in the major leagues. There's a pop fly. Kinsler moving into foul territory to get it, but it's going to drift away from him, and he didn't want to eat the netting, so let that ball drop in a 10-0 game. No harm done.
And I spoke to Coach Steinmetz this morning, and I asked him, you know, is playing on Team Israel part of Jacob's future? Is it something he's thought about? He said the two sides have spoken. It will not happen now, but it for sure will be something to keep an eye on for the future.
There's a pitch down and away. I remember in the pitched at Polk State. Looks the runner back at second. Gets a swing and a miss on a fastball up and away. A chase by Hector Klass. The DH who struck out in his first trip. This is only the end of the second trip through the order for New York Fire. They are running with a 10-man batting order. There's a ground ball foul.
And as much as this game was very low stake, I'm sure that Team Israel has a smile with a 10-run lead, knowing that they gave a little bit of a beating in their first exhibition game, knowing, you know, a little bit of a confidence boost for those guys.
That pitch is up and in. Look, there's nothing to lose, like we said, for Israel, but they're also not supposed to lose. This is a National Olympic team, and they're playing semi-pro teams, and that's a fastball inside that Klass just got out of the way of. They are supposed to win all 9 of these games, and rather handily, and so they're doing it here, up 10-0. Full count pitch, swing and a miss, got him to chase a fastball. And Pellman gets the strikeout. He'll bring up the extra hitter, Dean Begay. So this pre-Olympic exhibition run will run through July 20th, when they'll wind up on Long Island against NYPD. Started with the fire department, finished with the police department, and play some semi-pro and all-star teams the rest of the way. And while this is the only game that's going to be here on Max Live, you can follow the rest of the tournament on Twitch TV, twitch.tv/Israel_baseball. We'll have all the games for you.
Am I mistaken to say that you will be on the call for those games?
You are not mistaken. I'm very excited about that. Not so excited about the 10:30 a.m. games, I got to tell you. Pellman right back with a couple of quick strikes here against Begay, who flied out. Kevin Diaz is on deck, and he's 2 for 2. Tomorrow night against the New York Boulders in Rockland County. That's a 6:30 start. And then the off day, and then I believe 3-day games in a row, 2 10:30s and a noon. One-two pitch swung on and missed, and he's running to first, but he can't. First base is occupied, less than 2 outs, so Begay, I don't know if he wasn't aware or if he wanted to draw a throw and see if he could make some havoc happen out on the field, but Kligman knew. Kligman knew he was out, didn't have to tag him, and just wanted to make sure that that runner, Molinini, stayed at second base. So Pellman's 2/3 of the way from pitching out of this, first and second, nobody out. And this is a pinch hitter for Kevin Diaz. This is Mike O'Hanlon. So Diaz can go with a smile on his face. I went 2 for 2 against an Olympic team. O'Hanlon shears one off, shallow left. It's going to drop in front of Wolf. A run will score ahead of the throw. RBI single for O'Hanlon. Gets the fire department on the board, trailing 10-1.
And the fire department team in the dugout hearing it from what has been a quiet crowd so far, but a nice hand there as they score their first run of the game.
Yeah, they got a good rooting section behind them. Now here's Frank DeMasi going to pinch hit for Gonzalez. Mark Gonzalez went 0 for 2 in this spot, playing left field. O'Hanlon with that little shallow fly ball to left, and Jeremy Wolf just into the game. Pulled up on it, wasn't sure if he was going to go full out, maybe try to make a diving catch. The sun is affecting him as it sets. And you can see now as he's in left field with his bare hand up to shield his eyes. I think he might have lost that ball in the sun. I'm not sure if he would have caught it either way, but I think he might have lost it off the bat. So Pellman gives up a run. He's the first Team Israel pitcher to do that, and the only one to allow 2 hits. Now he's behind in the count to DeMasi, 3-1. Couple of looks back at second, and now he misses up and in, ball 4. Second walk issued by Pellman, and the bases are full of firefighters with 2 out. Conlisk will bat now. He grounded into the double play to end the first inning, and he walked. And he takes the first pitch low. Switch hitter, batting left. A 17th round pick of the Expos back in 2002. Played 3 seasons in the Montreal organization before they moved to Washington. He swings, it's a ground ball up the middle. Penn Praise will make the play, step on the bag, beat the runner, and the inning is over. But New York Fire gets one. They are on the board on a couple of hits. They leave the bases loaded to the bottom of the 6th, 10-1 Team Israel.
When I was in 9th grade, someone told me to give up on ball. He told me, basketball will only take you so far in life. You're not going to make it to the NBA, he said. What he was missing is that making it to the NBA isn't the only reason why we play. The game of basketball leaves you with so much more than just the game itself. The life lessons and friendships that are made while playing the game will outlive the game and can last a lifetime.
Lots of changes for New York's bravest, the Fire Department of New York. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, we saw a couple of pinch hitters in the top of the inning, and Mike O'Hanlon has stayed in to play center. Frank DeMasi has stayed in to play right. There is a new middle infield with Oni Franco at second and Nick Marici at shortstop. And Kevin Watson has come in to pitch, having a chat with Joe Proscia, his catcher right now, with Israel ahead 10-1. Watson is the 4th pitcher for FDNY. Israel has had 6 different pitchers, only one of whom got scored upon, and that was the latest one, Dean Pellman. Mike Wilner and Dave Schwartzman here with you from Maimonides Park on Coney Island. Ben Wanger will lead off this 5th inning like he did the 6th, or he'll lead off the 6th like he did the 5th. It works both ways. He drew a walk, scored the first of 4 runs for Team Israel in that bottom of the 5th inning to increase their lead to 10-0 at the time. It's now 10-1. Watson misses down and in. It's a 3-1 count now on Wanger, the DH, who's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Every member of the Israeli lineup has reached base safely at least once, and there's a base hit for Wanger, and that's going to gap in right center. He takes a big turnaround first, but he'll scamper back to the bag, content with a single in his first hit. Rob Paller is the only one without a hit, but he's been on base 3 times. He's walked twice and been hit by a pitch. Check out Mensch Warmers, the world's only Jewish sports podcast. This summer, Gabe and Jamie have been interviewing Jewish Olympic athletes and members of Team Israel baseball, including Cody Decker, Dean Pellman, and Nate Fish, the self-proclaimed king of Jewish baseball, who's out there coaching 3rd right now. Search for Mensch Warmers wherever you listen to podcasts or find them at thecjn.ca. Glad to have the Mensch Warmers aboard. The CJN, of course, the Canadian Jewish News. And good to have them back. We almost lost them during the pandemic. There's a swing and a ground ball to right field, a base hit. Wanger looking to fish to see if he should come to third, and Nate says no. Jacob Wolf is 2 for 2, a couple of singles.
Israel not making any big turns here, playing quite conservatively on the base path.
Yeah, the deal, I think, in a game like this, when it's a blowout, is you do what you're supposed to do. Score the runs you're supposed to score, but don't get greedy and don't take extra bases when you don't have to. If it's going to be close, don't go. But if it's not, and a guy earns an RBI, let him have it. Mitch Glasser, the 9-hitter, has doubled and walked, scored a couple of runs, driven in another with a sac fly, and takes a good fastball in the inner half for strike one. I don't want to step on the Mensch Warmers. I won't plug my podcast until another inning. But I have one too. That one's a little high.
There's enough airtime to go around for the podcast.
There is, but the thing is, everybody's got one. There's a ton of podcastageness out there in the world. You got to filter through. There's a swing and a fly ball, shallow left. Out goes Marici. In comes a left fielder, and it's Marici who makes the play. Again, angled away from the sun, just like Dan Quinn before him. And that's a first out.
So FDNY shortstops playing very smart, battling the sun, winning the battle.
Yeah, well done. It's tough to do. I mean, it's a summer night, so the sun doesn't set till after 8 o'clock, but it is setting, and it's definitely getting in the way. And I say the left fielder because the left fielder is number 26, and they didn't give us a number 26. So we don't know who he is. As Ty Kelly stands back in. Kelly, the leadoff man, has scored 3 runs, which is what you want to see your leadoff man do. 1 for 3 with a walk.
Very notably, walking and getting himself into scoring position in the first, something that this Israel team is going to look for in the Olympics.
Yeah, Israel is going to be a major underdog in every game it plays in the Olympics. You're talking about baseball powerhouses, Japan and South Korea, the U.S. and Mexico. It's not going to be easy, so they're going to have to be as opportunistic as possible. Take advantage of every tiny little break they get and make some for themselves. There's a line drive into right field. That's a base hit. Getting the wave from second is Wanger. He's going to score. Stopping at second is Wolf. Second hit of the day for Ty Kelly. Makes it 11-1.
Schedule hawks will normally look at the schedule and look ahead to where, there's somewhere some brink in the schedule, a little bit of a break, some light spots, but Team Israel is looking to be what other teams may be looking at as that soft spot in the schedule. So it'll for sure be an uphill battle.
It's absolutely true as Ian Kinsler stands in. 1 for 3 with an RBI double and a sac fly. Those other 5 teams will all be looking at Israel as the free space on their bingo card. Much like happened in the World Baseball Classic when Israel beat South Korea, Taiwan, and the Netherlands. And they're going to have to take some people by surprise. There's only 6 teams, and there are 3 medals. And wouldn't it be something to see the Kachol Velavan come home with one of them.
And they're trying to get it all started against the Adom.
That's right, of New York's bravest. 2 on, 1 out. Bottom of the 6th, 11-1. Kinsler takes it outside, and Proscia can't hold on to it, but it doesn't get back very far. And 11-1, you're not going to move up on a short, wild pitch. You want to be at the point where you're not running it up, but you also, I think it's just as unsportsmanlike to not take the extra base when it's there.
There is a fine line to try to stay on.
3-1 is a swung on and missed by Kinsler, trying to hit that one out to the Thunderbolt, going after a high fastball, and also wanting to see another pitch here. He doesn't want to walk in the 6th inning of an 11-1 game. Want to get some hacks. Full count is high, too high to swing at, and the bases are loaded for Danny Valencia.
Kinsler's had some hard hit balls today, including an RBI double, and now he adds a walk onto that.
And Valencia has walked. He has a 2-run single. He's 1 for 3. 36-year-old out of Miami. Played parts in 9 seasons in the major leagues with 7 teams. Got off to a great start to his career. He was the Minnesota Twins Rookie of the Year in 2010 when he hit .311 over half a season with a .799 OPS. Best years came with Oakland. Corner infielder, played a little left field, swings and misses at a big curve, and it's 0-2.
And it kind of feels like a little bit of a party here. A lot of music not coming from the ballpark. Seems to be coming from some game in Luna Park.
Runners lead from every base. 0-2 to Valencia is way outside. Danny hit .286 over his 2 years with Oakland with an .818 OPS and 28 of his 96 major league home runs. Career highs in all those categories. Now he bends out of the way of that pitch, and it's 2-2. With Kelly at third, Danny plays first here for Team Israel. A great add to this team, along with Kinsler. Swings and grounds it foul over the head of Nate Fish. Someone's going to have to chase that. Fish has given up on it. And someone will come out of the Team Israel bullpen to go get that. Tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Israel_baseball. Game 2 of this 9-game pre-Olympic warm-up tournament. There's a swing and a fly ball hit to deep left field. Back goes the left fielder. He dives, and he caught it. What a catch in the left field corner. An incredible grab. Wolf tags and scores. That is by far the best play we have seen here today. An incredible grab, taking away a 3-run double from Danny Valencia.
Going back on that ball was Gonzalez, and he laid out backwards to make that catch. The best defensive play we have seen all day.
Full out Superman dive going back towards the left field corner. And some terrific closing speed there, too. A run does score. It's a sac fly, so it's 12-1. And the batter now is Nick Rickles, who caught the first half of the game and has stayed in to hit. Wow. That's got to be on the highlight reel forever. A tremendous catch.
You getting to see Kevin Pillar a lot out there. They called him Superman. There was Gonzalez taking his nickname from him.
That was, I mean, he could have had a cape on him right there. Absolutely. A gorgeous, gorgeous catch. Certainly worthy of anyone in the big leagues who's ever robbed Danny Valencia of a hit. Two on, two out. Scoreboard operator so impressed by that catch, he's still got his jaw on the ground and hasn't updated the scoreboard yet. But that's okay. That's what we're here for. It's a 2-run inning for Israel, but that one could have been 5. Rickles has 3 hits, and now he's popped one up. The catcher doesn't see it. Now he's underneath it. Throws a mask and drops the ball. Joe Prosh is having a rough day back there. Did not see that pop-up originally. The third baseman, Giakis, was charging in. The pitcher, Watson, almost took a shot at it, but Prosh settled underneath it, and he was right under it, threw the mask, and just dropped it. But again, these sky-high pop-ups, it's a tough wind coming off the ocean. Not an easy play. Let's see if how much it'll cost Watson. 2-2 pitch, curveball is up, and the count is full.
Scoreboard operator still refusing to acknowledge that catch in left field. Still says 1 out.
I mean, it was an unbelievable catch, but it actually did happen. Runners go, pitch is swung on and missed, and that is the first strikeout against an Israeli ball player today. There had been no strikeouts through the first 5 2/3 innings, but Nick Rickles strikes out to end the frame, so good job by Kevin Watson. Although Israel scores a pair of runs through 6 with a 12-1 lead.
Check out the video.
Going to hear from Zach Rabb. Tell us all about the Israel baseball shop.
Hey guys, I'm the marketing manager for the Israel baseball shop online. Basically, Israel is going to the Olympics, as you know. You can get every selection of merchandise that you want right now. Hats, kippas, t-shirts, hoodies. You can even get custom shoes, shorts, some collectibles, including this beauty right here. Shlomo Lipitz bobblehead limited edition out of 504. So get them fast while they're still available. You see Shlomo Lipitz's name in Hebrew. We got the Israel baseball logo on his jersey. Pretty sweet, so make sure you go get one online. You can get this shirt right here, Matzah Baller. It's a fan favorite, bestseller, so make sure you get one soon and just keep representing Israel baseball all around and keep rooting on Israel baseball as they go to the Olympics. And thank you for all the support. Visit teamisraelbaseball.com today. Get your Israel baseball merch. Go Team Israel.
We head to the top of the 7th. 12-1, the Israelis lead in this game against FDNY. Matt Soren into pitch for the Israelis. as Joe Proscia will head to bat. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Most of these FDNY players having a minimal at-bats at the hand of some great pitching from the Israelis so far, and that's a great sign going into what will be an Olympic tournament featuring many heavy hitters from many different teams. And I'm sure they'll be facing some guys that they've faced before, as Proscia takes one outside. USA in a similar boat. I wouldn't quite compare the two as saying they're the same, but a similar boat, having a lot of veterans. That ball is inside to Proscia, 2-0. The likes of Todd Frazier playing for the USA. Guy by the name of Simeon Woods Richardson. As Proscia hits one back to us right off the window. And Mike was speaking before about balls that can hit us. That was about 20 feet to the left of us. That's as close as hopefully it'll get.
Couple of decades in the booth teaches you a thing or two.
As that one's inside, 3-1 to Proscia.
This reminds me of, it's a little bigger than spring training ballpark, but how close we are and unprotected we are sort of reminds me a little bit of how it used to be in Bradenton, Florida, where the Pirates play.
That one's hit on the ground between first and second. Taken by Rickles over to Soren. Almost throws it too far, but Nick Rickles, who's in the game playing first base now, showing off his glove and arm early on in his tenure at first base.
And how about that? Danny Valencia, a big league first baseman, doesn't get a ball hit to him the whole game. Rickles moves over there and has to make a really nice play, and he did.
So Rickles, after bearing the load behind the plate, making a play at first base in his first inning at play over there. Ball one to Giakis. And again, this Olympic tournament is going to be very fascinating from the standpoint, as that one's up and in to Giakis. From the standpoint that you're going to have, unlike the World Baseball Classic where you had major league players and the stars participating in the tournament, you're going to have young guys and veterans taking part. As that one's called a strike from Soren.
Yeah, 2-1. It is really interesting. I mean, you talk about Todd Frazier and Simeon Woods Richardson, and there's a 20-year-old and almost a 40-year-old.
That one goes back into the parking lot.
And they can pull players who are not on 40-man rosters of major league teams. So that means either you're on your way out or you're so young you haven't had to be put on a 40 yet.
As that's called strike 3.
That's a good-looking breaking ball right there by Matt Soren.
So Soren making quick work here in the top of the 7th. And the fascinating part about tournament play for the Olympics is you have the United States, Israel, I'm sure Mexico to some capacity, playing Dominican Republic, playing a little bit behind the 8 ball, considering that they don't get their regulars playing, whereas countries like Japan and South Korea will have their regulars. Now Japan won't have Shohei Ohtani playing, so that for sure will be a disadvantage for them. Some famous videos of Ohtani from his time in the World Baseball Classic a couple years ago was circulating a couple weeks ago, where he hit one through the roof.
Yeah, look, it would be awesome to have him there. It's going to be awesome to have him in the home run hitting contest in the major leagues. He's going to be the American League MVP this year. And but your point is well made. Japan and South Korea have their best players there. None of the other teams do.
And so otherwise, what has historically, not historically, but over the past couple of tournaments, as that one socked into right field, a base hit for Resnick, his first of the day.
Ian Kinsler's come out of the game at second base, and we don't know who that is playing second. We don't have a number 7. But that got on him awfully quickly, and maybe a little more so than he expected.
It's not too hard to tell when Kinsler or Valencia are out of the game. When the player in their positions looks a little less sharp. They're big leaguers and were big leaguers for a reason. As Malinini fouls that one back into the mitt of Kligman. Man on first, 2 outs, 1-1 to Mike Malinini. It's a 12-1 lead for the Israelis here in the top of the 7th. That pitch is high, 2-1. The sun has set, or is in the process of setting, has not set, but it has gone a little darker here. The sun has gone away. Feeling the ocean breeze as people are in the ballpark, on the beach, at the amusement park, just right next door to us, enjoying their summertime after what was a tumultuous year and a half, people getting back out and about.
Yeah, it's really nice to see. It's nice to see an amusement park running. It's nice to see so many people out on the beach and the boardwalk.
That pitch is smacked on the ground. Thrown over to Rickles at first, and that will retire the side. One man reaches on one hit, one left. As we head to the bottom of the 7th, it's 12-1 in favor of the Israelis.
When I was in 9th grade, someone told me to give up on ball. He told me, basketball will only take you so far in life. You're not going to make it to the NBA, he said. What he was missing is that making it to the NBA isn't the only reason why we play. Basketball leaves you with so much more than just the game itself. The life lessons and friendships that are made while playing the game will outlive the game and can last a lifetime.
My story started with a letter in the mail.
I took my first steps in New York and felt the energy all around me.
I connected with my Rebbe on the first day of Shir.
My story was learning that the mitochondria is more than just the powerhouse of the cell.
I made my painting from scratch, like really from scratch.
My roommates came here from 4 different countries. We lit one menorah together.
My story was practice every night.
Chavruta every night.
Subway rides, city lights.
In my story, my name was in the headlines.
The bylines.
The University Museum.
My story was my internship at the Supreme Court.
Dancing with the Israeli flag in Times Square.
My story was participating in the only hackathon, not on Shabbat.
The Career Center found me my first job at a top business analytics firm.
My story was becoming best friends with my chavruta.
And holding that NCAA trophy.
My story started here.
My story is just beginning.
Men's basketball season for Yeshiva is underway.
Division 3 Yeshiva University.
Yeshiva University Maccabees have won 34 in a row.
And welcome back to Max Live, where the Israeli baseball team is taking on FDNY. FDNY's the bravest, New York's bravest. Pitching change for FDNY. Cheyenne Reyes into pitch. Cheyenne had an infield walk-off hit for St. Raymond High School against rival All Hallows, which was covered by the New York Post in 2012. And Rob Paller coming up to bat for the Israelis. Last time up, got caught looking.
I'm sure he's still not happy about that strike 3 call.
And he wails away at a pitch outside. 0-1. And this is just a fun vibe here at this ballpark, something that I have never experienced before. Just so much going on in the ballpark, outside the ballpark. Paller took a ball in the dirt, 1-1. Reyes is 1-1, misses.
It is a lot of fun here. The music blasting is coming from the amusement park, not the ballpark, but it's very, very audible, very obviously. The ocean, the roller coasters.
As that one's called a strike on the outside corner, 2-2. It's 12-1 Israel, bottom 7. They'll be back in action tomorrow morning. As that's unable to be handled by Proscia. So a 3-2 count. Again, you can catch that game tomorrow on Twitch.
6:30 p.m. tomorrow. Sign up for Twitch now and you'll get an alert when we start.
As as Paller goes down swinging. So his second strikeout on the day. And some Max Live fanatics or historians would remember that just about 2 years ago, we were on Twitch. Very handy updates. As it looks like we're going to get a pitching change. So Cheyenne Reyes, one batter, and he's done.
Big day for Cheyenne Reyes. He strikes out the only hitter he faces and gets a lot of fist bumps and a lot of love from his FDNY teammates.
FDNY, who's always remembering Andre Fletcher and Michael Weinberg. Andre Fletcher, both gone but not forgotten. He was on Rescue 5. Michael Weinberg, Engine 1, both 9/11 heroes.
Members of this team who perished on that day, and they are still on the roster, which is a wonderful way to pay tribute. The new pitcher for New York's Bravest is not on our roster lists. So we'll see if we can figure it out as it goes along. And that's what happens sometimes in the 7th inning of a 12-1 ball game.
Not quite in major league games, but
I've seen it in spring training.
Spring training is a different story, for sure.
there's a lot of looking around broadcast booths and press boxes and who is this, guys?
This being Max Live's first of many first-time outdoors, very notably. First time covering baseball, very notably. First time with a professional as professional as Mr. Mike Wilner, which has been a pleasure so far today to sit side by side with.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much. I mean, I cut my broadcasting teeth doing university sports back in the 80s in Canada, doing U of T hockey, University of Toronto hockey, and that was a tremendous experience back then, and I'm just so thrilled to be a part of this. You guys have been wonderful.
And I hope the viewers at home are enjoying our first hurrah in the world of baseball. I'm sure my usual partner, Yoshua Siegel, who the angelic voice of Yoshua Siegel would have, he had mentioned that he was unavailable today, but mentioned that he was jealous of the opportunity. And I am for sure honored to be here today representing our the great people over here at Max Live. As that one sailed above the head of Pempraise.
Look, it's a sticky day. It's windy, and there's salt spray coming off the ocean.
And speaking of sticky, no, I don't think we'll get into that.
It's got to be a tough day to get a grip on the baseball.
There you go. And I actually I was speaking to a player on Team Israel just before the game, and I asked him, because coming from, as that one's grounded by Pempraise to third, on to first out, Pempraise. So that is the side is retired. And I would like to, two away. And I was asking this anonymous player before the game about the sticky stuff, because as a fan of the game, not somebody who's called any games actually until today, I have not been around clubhouses. I have not been around teams. I have not. So I'm coming purely from a fan's perspective. So I'm very curious about what happens behind closed doors, or what did happen behind closed doors, as Major League Baseball has decided to start cracking down. And he said pretty much the majority of players he knew, and he's a young guy, but the majority of players he knew were using some illegal substance or another. He said that he himself never did anything too vicious or too malicious.
Of course, they never did. Everybody they know did, but they never did. That's the way it always works.
But
Look,
what he said was that the spider the spider tack, we've seen the videos over the last couple of days or weeks of people ordering the spider tack online, trying to see exactly what it was. And he said that the grip, he's tried it one time, not in a game. He just wanted to see what it felt like, or so he claimed. And he said that the grip, you literally don't even basically hold on to the ball, as Wenger draws a walk. So Wenger's on first, two away. And here will come Jeremy Wolf.
You're going to have to explain that a little more when he said you basically don't even hold on to the ball.
So he was kind of saying that once you have the spider tack on your finger, as that one's way outside, once you have the spider tack on your finger, the rest of your grip is pretty much not needed anymore, in a sense that it holds on so tight that you don't have to pretty much put any other pressure on the ball to get the proper grip. So it's basically just that top of the finger, I think, where they put it on their fingers. And he said it's a clear advantage, which is obvious. The question really becomes, and this is me speaking now, the question really becomes how much adjustment, as that's fouled back, how much adjustment is really needed from pitchers to get to a place where they aren't relying on the spider tack. So how much is a guy is a major league pitcher really, how much time do they need to readjust themselves and readjust their grip and learn how to pitch in a world where illegal substances are really enforced?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I think what we're seeing now, we've seen a couple of guys wind up on the injured list. Tyler Glasnow of the Rays has said that it was because he's not allowed to use it anymore. Clayton Kershaw's got a forearm strain, though we don't know if he was using it or not.
That one smacked off a third base, and that's going to be a hit for Loewengaard. So a fortuitous bounce for Loewengaard results in a hit, and now it's first and second, something cooking for the Israelis here in the bottom of the 7th.
That's how you get your third hit of the game right there. A little cue shot right down the third base line and off the bag. Of course, the entirety of first and third base are in fair territory, so if any part of the ball hits any part of the bag, it's a base hit, and so that's how Jeremy Wolf gets to be 3 for 3. And now we're going to see a pinch hitter for Mitch Glasser. Jake Rosenberg is coming to the plate.
So here's Rosenberg. And that one's up and in.
Glasser represented the bottom of the lineup very well with a double and 2 runs scored and an RBI.
He was flying all over the base paths today.
I wonder how many pitchers are going to have more injury trouble. They say that now they have to throw harder, they have to grip it tighter, they have to spin it harder in order to be what they were. That, for me, is going to be the big learning curve, how to be close to what you used to be while managing to stay healthy.
Well, I think there's, building off of that, you see in New York guys like Aroldis Chapman and Garrett Cole who seem to have needed some adjustment after or there was bad results correlated to the timing of the, really hunkering down on making sure that nobody, uses the sticky stuff.
Yeah, it looks really good on Aroldis Chapman.
That one's outside, and I, being a Mets fan, was able to benefit from that last weekend. I believe today, I'm not sure if it was him, but they blew a 7-1 ninth inning lead. So
the Yankees.
They blew a 7-2 ninth inning lead to lose 8-7. I'm not sure if that was Chapman or not.
Well, Garrett Cole threw a complete game the other night, so maybe he's figuring it out a little bit better.
And that's, I think, where the conversation really it gets interesting. It's, for Garrett Cole, who had a couple of rough starts, how long does it take to get back into that groove and to figure it out? And I think that a big part of the conversation is that one's lofted out to right, as that one's caught by Massey, and the side is retired. More sticky stuff when we get back. Top after 7, it's 12-1 in favor of the Israelis. But before we go, we'll send it to S.J. Tannenbaum, who's with a very special lady down there. S.J.?
Hello, everybody. We're here with a very, very, very special fan. A lot of people come to the games and they love the players, but not everyone loves them as a grandmother. This is Miss Taibi Lapkin. She is the grandmother of Zev and Eitan Moore, twin players on this Team Israel baseball roster. And if I have it correct, they just turned 20. Is that correct?
Yes, just very recently.
Just very recently. We were my cameraman David Price and I were simply walking on the concourse. We ran into this lovely young lady, and her daughter, who is to my front left here, told us, you have to interview my mother. She is the grandmother. So we have to ask you, what is it like to be at this game watching your twin grandchildren, Zev and Eitan Moore, be a part of this historic Team Israel roster?
I am so excited that Israel is going to the Olympics, and the idea that my Israeli kids who are in the IDF are here in Brooklyn at Coney Island is a wild concept for me.
You also mentioned that Zev and Eitan happen to be, observant. They don't play on the Sabbath. They're very conscious to not violate, anything that would be controversial as Jewish athletes. Where do you think that commitment to their religious practices came from? Was it from their friends, from their parents, grandparents? Where did that inspiration and commitment come from?
I definitely came from their father. I like to think that I had a great part in it. My son is Baal Tshuva, and he's a committed Zionist. And it's so much a part of their life. It has so much value and meaning for them. And if you ask them how they got this, it's like they don't even have any other option about life. And it is quite a commitment. It's quite an investment because it's very difficult, but I think that propels them to be even more invested and more disciplined and more intense about it.
Thank you so much, Miss Taibi Lapkin, Safta of Zev and Eitan Moore. Back to you guys in the booth.
SJ, that's great chat. Good to hear from the Safta. Like we talked about earlier, a lot of this is for the boobies and Zadies out there. We are in the 8th inning. It is 12-1 as Israel just went in the bottom of the 7th and did not score. Only the second time they haven't managed to put a run up. Mike Wilner, Dave Schwartzman here with you live from Maimonides Park on Coney Island in Brooklyn, New York, home of the Brooklyn Cyclones. The new pitcher is DJ Sharabi, and he's ahead 0-2 against Nick Marici, the shortstop. Took over for Dan Quinn, who walked and struck out. Marici's first at bat, he swings and misses. Sharabi strikes him out. DJ Sharabi is the 8th different pitcher for Team Israel in this game. Everyone's gotten 1 inning. John Moscott started it, gave up a single on the first pitch he threw to Kevin Diaz, but then got a ground ball and a double play ball to get out of it. Josh Zeid pitched the second, struck out the side in order. Jonathan DeMarte had a perfect third. Jeremy Bleish gave up a single in the 4th inning. There's a ground ball, foul, wide of first.
Rickles making himself known there with a nice little nifty play in foul territory.
Second time he's been tested there. This is Morgan Nunez, who is pinch hitting for the DH Hector Class. Class went 0-2, struck out twice. Caden Rothbaum pitched shutout inning. Dean Pellman gave up New York's bravest's only run in the 6th on an RBI single by Mike O'Hanlon. Then Matt Soren pitched a shutout 7th, and now DJ Sharabi wearing number 10.
Sharabi made quite a name for himself in the 2019 European Championship, giving up no earned runs over 3 innings in the 2nd game of the 2019 tournament.
Israel making its way to the Olympics through those wins in Europe. And a lot of these guys were big parts of it. They went 4-1 in round 1, beating Sweden, Great Britain, the Czechs, and Germany. And they finished in the top 5 in the European Championships as Nunez strikes out. And that moved them to the Olympics after getting wins in the later tournament. Here is another pinch hitter, Ryan McManus, pinch hitting for the extra hitter, Dean Begay. Sharabi is trying to match Josh Zeid's 3 strikeouts in the 2nd inning. He's got 2, and he's ahead 0-1 here. There's a swing and a line drive foul into the parking lot in right field. Cloud cover beginning to move over. from what I can only assume is the west. I don't really know the where we are, but I'm pretty sure the ocean is on the east.
I would try to chime in there, but it's probably better for me not to.
0-2 pitch is a swing and a miss, and there you go. Sharabi strikes out the side in order, a very quick and very efficient top of the 8th inning. And I'm pretty sure that was an immaculate.
Alfred gives for Patesh. Patesh seeing a lot of time with the starting unit. Give it go! Alley-oop! Gabe Leifert agrees! We got used to saying that. Eitan Halbert taking on a very similar role that his brother and recent graduate Simcha Halbert takes on as Oren Patesh connects on a triple.
It is the bottom of the 8th here at Maimonides Park, Brooklyn, New York, where Team Israel leads New York's Bravest 12-1. They've out-hit them 14-5. Overcast skies, and there's no more sunlight on the field as Ellie Kligman stands in against Jesse Siciliano, and he takes the first pitch up and away. Kligman's first at bat, hitting in the leadoff spot. That looks like that was called a strike, 1-1. Home plate umpire Tony Sinia, not very demonstrative with a lot of his calls. Scoreboard says it was ball 2.
Yeah, he kind of puts his hand out there in front.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Not always. And it's not exactly what you want from our perspective. 2-1 is inside.
Alternatively, I would rather a nice little ha.
Something, right?
Something, right.
Yeah, the scoreboard was wrong. It is 2-2. So he did make his little strike sign. And the pitch is swung on and popped up third base side. Justin Pena clearing out the third base coach. Fish will make the catch. Kligman's retired. In foul territory for the first out. The Jewish Baseball Museum proudly showcases the rich relationship between Jews and baseball and the impact each has had on the other. It celebrates the game's heroes and journeymen from Lipman Pike to Alex Bregman. Visit us at jewishbaseballmuseum.com.
You know, speaking of Alex Bregman, there always seems to be guys at the major league level who, you know, you kind of dream could be playing for this team, right? So Alex Bregman being one of those.
comebacker to the mound, and there are 2 away.
Alex Bregman, Paul Goldschmidt, one would qualify as a citizen for Israel with a grandparent who is Jewish. And so you can always kind of play this fun game where, what is the best team you can field? I remember in 2013 when they started trying to put this team together, and it wasn't really so much interest at the major league level to play.
This is Nick Rickles batting out of turn, but it doesn't really matter. They've just decided to skip the Danny Valencia spot. 2 out and nobody on, and Rickles is looking for his 4th hit of the afternoon. So who'd you come up with?
I wanted Kevin Youkilis back in the day, and looking back, it was around 2013, pretty much at the end of, his dominance in Major League Baseball.
There's a swing and a line drive into right center field, a base hit for Rickles. He's got a 4-hit day. He's going to jog into second well ahead of the throw. Nick Rickles, 4 for 6 today, now has a double to go with his 3 singles. That's a swell first game for Nick Rickles in a 12-1 Israel lead, as Rob Paller will come up looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 2, but he's walked twice and been hit by a pitch.
Jacques Peterson.
Sure.
Another guy. Kevin Pillar, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Oh, yeah.
So there really are a lot of options in a world of a World Baseball Classic where it's not mid-season. And players would be interested.
Paller takes the pitch up. Rowdy Tellez just traded from the Blue Jays to the Milwaukee Brewers. Would qualify to play. His mother was Jewish. He'd be an interesting guy as well. Michael Lorenzen for the Cincinnati Reds.
Bregman, who played for Team USA back in 2017, but would for sure lead that class of guys that would qualify for Team Israel.
That's the thing when you're in competition. If you can start for Team USA or play for Team Israel, there's a pitch that gets through the wickets of catcher Billy Moran, and jogging to third will be Rickles.
But one thing that can happen from this tournament, if Israel can make a little noise, is create some sort of want from these players to play for Team Israel, guys that otherwise maybe would want to play for USA, and maybe will incentivize some guys to wear the blue and white.
It's interesting as there's ball 3, because I think that if you can, unless you have a real pull towards Israel or, towards your Jewish identity, then I think guys would rather play for the U.S. There's a pop foul. That's going to get pushed out of play by the wind. And I don't know. I mean, Bregman, I'm sure, could have played for Team Israel in the last World Baseball Classic and chose not to. But I think Israel doing so well in the Olympics will just make a lot of people realize, hey, this is something that I could do. This is a possibility. There's ball 4. Paller throws the bat away as he walks for the 3rd time today. And I think it might lead to some ball players doing a little detective work on their Jewish heritage and seeing if they could qualify. And through that, it becomes a way to get to know yourself a little bit better.
And you'd have to imagine that if Ian Kinsler and Danny Valencia enjoy their time here and, come away with some sort of meaning, that they won't be trying to help the cause and make some phone calls the next time around, trying to recruit some of these guys.
Yep, like Sean Green and Brad Osmus before them. Well, they're off to a great start in this little exhibition tournament as Zach Penpraise fouls that pitch off and takes a good whiff of the bat. You can smell that wood burning if you just get the foul tip in the right spot.
He was seemingly upset at the Mr. Softy ice cream stand, taking out his frustrations.
One pitch is hit on the ground, and a great stab at third by Justin Payne. You get up, throw it across. Terrific pick by Tom Resnick. And on both ends, a really, really pretty play by New York's bravest to put up another 0 and get out of the 8th inning. Israel leads New York Fire 12-1. Ellie Kligman popped up foul to start this inning, and now we've got him downstairs with S.J. Tannenbaum. Go ahead, S.J. I'm attached to a bunch of things.
However, not talented. Ellie is currently being recruited by multiple D1 schools, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada. He plays catcher and pitcher, if I'm correct. Field. And he's been getting a lot of publicity in the New York Times, Washington Post, different publications for his commitment, keeping Shabbos and using to play on the Sabbath. I want to ask you, along with that note, who are some of your MLB influences? I imagine Sandy Koufax is probably up there as being a Jewish All-Star Hall of Famer who refused to pitch in the World Series in Yom Kippur. Are there other players that you look up to who have been in the majors or been to high levels? And also, what's the experience like getting to be on the same roster as former big league players, Ian Kinsler, Valencia, others like that? What's that experience like for you?
Yeah, so besides Koufax, one of my favorite players to watch growing up was Roy Halladay. That was just I'm a Phillies fan, so watching him, pitch in the playoffs and the way he went about his business is always something I looked up to. People on this team, it's awesome. You get to learn from all-stars and leaguers, and it's just a good chance to learn and be a better baseball player.
Bigman, we see you one day progress as far as the majors. Hopefully one day. Good luck in Tokyo.
Thank you.
In the booth.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy the experience.
If he goes in this draft. All right, thank you, S.J. and Ellie. Great to hear from Ellie Kligman down there. He's going to be a big part of this thing for a long time, you would think, just in the very embryonic stages of his career. Ben Wanger is on to pitch. Wanger started this game as the DH and was actually on deck when the bottom of the 8th ended. He's walked twice, singled, scored a couple of runs as part of this 12-1 lead for Team Israel, and he's going to try to finish it off here.
And speaking of young guns, Henry Davis, the catcher out of University of Louisville, taken #1 overall by the Pittsburgh Pirates in the MLB draft.
And the MLB draft is just underway. Everyone wondering who the Pirates were going to take with their GM Ben Cherington, a part of some very good Boston Red Sox teams. Wanger quickly ahead 0-2 on Mike O'Hanlon, who's driven in the only run of this game for New York's bravest, with a pinch hit single in the 6th inning off of Dean Pellman. So Wanger, the first double threat of this game for Team Israel. DH/pitcher.
They might as well write Ohtani on the back of his jersey.
He's throwing hard for sure. Misses down and away there. He's got the top of the FDNY lineup to deal with here in the 9th inning. There's a line drive over short. That's going to get into left field, and it's going to gap, cut off in center by Paller. Fires it in, but it's a double for O'Hanlon. He's 2 for 2, and that's the first extra base hit of the day for New York's bravest.
not too many extra base hits in the game as in total. A lot of small ball by Team Israel, but there's another extra base hit by O'Hanlon.
Brings up Nick DeMasi, who walked in his pinch hit appearance. 15-6 the hits, Israel over New York's bravest. And a big swing and a miss at a high fastball there for strike one. This is the first of 9 games that Israel will play leading up to the Tokyo Olympics. The rest of the games will be broadcast on Twitch. You can find us at twitch.tv/Israel_baseball. And if you go sign up now, you'll get an alert when each broadcast begins. The next one is tomorrow against the New York Boulders at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Ground ball back to Wanger. Freeze the runner at second and throw to the shortstop, Penpraise, but not a good throw. Penpraise has to reach to get it, and Wanger just turn and throw to first. You don't need to do anything else but get the out. It's 12-1. It's the 9th inning. And instead, DeMasi reaches on the fielder's choice as Wanger looked back to second but didn't have a play. The runner, O'Hanlon, was going to be able to get back, but when Wanger threw, the runner took off, and it was not a great throw.
Yeah, and this is the biggest threat of the game for FDNY thus far. First and third, no one out.
First time they've had a runner at third since the 6th inning. Oni Franco, the batter now. Came in defensively for Jason Conlisk. This is his first time at bat. There's a strike called 1-1. Mike Wilner and Dave Schwartzman here with you, and very happy to have you along with us here on Max Live. And I want to give a shout out to Max Live for powering this entire operation. Max Live is a 100% student-run broadcast team from Yeshiva University, whose basketball team was ranked 3rd in all of NCAA Division III and currently has a 36-game winning streak. Check out Max Live on social media and at maxlive.com to stay up to date on their incredible journey. It's been a wonderful day at the ballpark, a great kickoff to this tournament. As Wanger misses up and in, and it's 3-1. It's 2-2. It's 2-2. Home plate umpire Tony Sania giving a sign to the scoreboard operator that they don't have the count right, but they don't have the count right because Tony Sania is not showing them when he's calling strikes. Runner goes, the pitch is in the dirt, no throw. And DeMasi just picking the pocket of Wanger right there, wasn't paying any attention to him at all.
As we look into Luna Park, a bungee-looking ride that is just making my heart drop every single time it goes up and down. I will not be taking part in that.
Ground ball to second. They'll take the out at first, and a run will score. DeMasi moves to third. It is 12-2 for Team Israel with 1 out in the 9th inning. Yeah, you said before that you were a roller coaster guy, so I was wondering if you were if you would enjoy that.
I'm a roller coaster guy. I'm not a free fall kind of guy. Like that does
That's
not,
like a slingshot.
Right. That does not. That's not my cup of tea. That type of ride, but just looking over at the Cyclone and the Thunderbolt, very enticing to go take a ride on one of those.
That climb on the Thunderbolt before the first drop that is just straight up. That does not seem like it would be very comfortable at all. There's a little tapper and it'll be foul at the plate. One out and a runner at third. The infield playing back because it's 12-2. Got a lot of people we need to thank for putting this broadcast together. First from Israel Baseball. There's a strike call, 1-2. Peter Kurtz, the general manager. Adam Gladstone, the head of logistics. Frankie Sachs, who basically does everything. And Shuey Jacoby. Keith Radd and Steve Cohen from the Brooklyn Cyclones, thank you very much. Ground ball to third. Ty Kelly still in the game. Throws it on over to first as the run scores. But now Israel is 1 out away. It's 12-3. And of course, the great crew here from Max Live. Akiva Poppers, our executive producer and director. Associate producers Ari Schopf and Roey Herzfeld. Technical director Aaron Traurig. Eitan Traurig, our associate director. And our great cameramen today, Ben Zukerman, Ezra Jacobs, Yisroel Tannenbaum, and David Price. A wonderful crew. All to support us here, Mike Wilner and Dave Schwartzman, in bringing you this ball game. 12-3 Israel. As John Giakis, actually this is Justin Pena who stands in here, took over for Giakis, who went 0 for 3.
And of course, thank you, Mike, for joining us today on this beautiful afternoon in Brooklyn. And it was a complete honor to call a game side by side with you.
Well, it's absolutely my pleasure. It's great to be back behind the mic after a few months off, after 20 years in a major league broadcast booth. It's been wonderful to get here and get to call in a ball game again as Pena takes a swing. It was probably ball 4 and runs the count full. It's been great, and I wish you guys with Max Live nothing but success as you move into this industry, and fun career to get into. Pena was way behind that Wenger fastball, and it's a full count again. 2 out in the 9th, nobody on. 12-3. Israel leads New York's bravest fire department. Full count pitches. Hit foul again, right field side, and Justin Pena is not going to go easy.
And some fans, the several that are on that first base side, having a fun time tracking down those foul balls.
Here's another full count pitch, and it's swung on, hit on the ground to second, and it'll get through into right field. So good for Justin Pena. Fouling off a couple of 3-2 pitches to extend his at-bat, get a hit.
Although Israel's up 12-3 in this game, the Web Gems have come courtesy of FDNY. A beautiful play in left field and a great stop at third base in the top of the inning. Excuse me, in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, the 2 best defensive plays of the game by far have come from the Firefighters. Well, Israel not really tested that much defensively. This is Josh Kistler, and he fouls off the first pitch. Ben Wenger trying to finish things off. A double threat. He was the DH to start the game. Went 1 for 3 with a walk, scored a couple of runs. Now trying to close it out in the 9th and misses with that fastball. It's 1-1. Again, if you're interested in following Israel on the rest of this journey, this warm-up tournament towards Tokyo, go right now to twitch.tv/Israel_baseball and sign up for that channel. You will get an alert every time we are about to begin a broadcast, and the next one will happen tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Little Monday night action in Rockland County, New York. 2-1 pitch is swung on and missed, tied him up. And once again, New York's bravest are down to their last strike. They're climbing the Thunderbolt right now, and I just can't at all. There's a gorgeous curveball, strike 3 called, and the game is over. The Firefighters score a couple in the 9th inning, but the final score is Israel 12 and FDNY 3.
the funniest guy on the Team Israel baseball?
But for me, Ty Kelly's the funniest dude. Like very dry, witty, sense of humor. So I would go with Ty Kelly.
What's your favorite Jewish food?
Like a cheese blends with some fruit on top. It's probably my favorite.
Favorite Israeli city?
Israeli city, Tel Aviv for sure.
What's Team Israel gonna do?
We're gonna play hard. We're gonna be competitive. We're gonna cheer for each other. We're gonna be exciting brand of baseball. Hopefully that leads to wins.
All right, let's go to gold.
All right, we're back here at Maimonides Park. Mike Wilner and Dave Schwartzman as Team Israel defeats the Fire Department of New York by a final score of 12-3. Israel got 12 runs on 15 hits. They made no errors. New York's bravest 3 runs on 7 hits and 1 error. The game was played unofficially in a time of 3 hours and 18 minutes. And really a great first step, Dave, for Israel on their way to the Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of key pieces contribute, and it was pretty much exactly what you wanted out of a very, very, very low-stake exhibition game. We got to see Ian Kinsler and Danny Valencia contribute. We saw some of Israel's pitchers that need to perform. We saw them perform in Josh Zaid and John Muscat and Jeremy Bleich. And we got a look at Ellie Kligman, who is part of the bright future of this Team Israel. So all in all, a great day for Team Israel as they will continue their exhibition circuit tomorrow night.
Yeah, like you said, really low stakes. But the thing is, even with the low stakes, if things hadn't gone well, it might have made you think, are they ready? Are they going to be able to get ready? How long is this going to take? Do they have enough time? And certainly, starting it right away with 3 runs in the first inning, they were off to the races. And it's going to be a lot of fun the rest of the way as they move to Tokyo in 2 weeks. The Olympics are less than 2 weeks away, so it's going to be a blast to get to watch them in the Olympic Games against the U.S. and the Dominican and Tokyo or Japan and Mexico and South Korea. This is what we're looking forward to, and this is just the first step on the way on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon here on Coney Island.
It was great. What a great way to start out this Olympic journey in 2021. Just about a year late. It feels it brings some sort of normalcy back to what has been a really, really tough year and a half for pretty much everybody worldwide, and a bright spot in where we have seen a lot of dark spots in the last year. So it's been just great would be the way to describe it. A great afternoon and a great way to start out what will hopefully be a very fun and historic journey for this Team Israel.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great afternoon. Thank you guys so much for having me here. It was just an absolute thrill to be here and to do this. And thanks so much to everyone for watching. And again, one final plug, well, 2 final plugs for me. You can follow me on Twitter at Wilnerness, though you're going to get a lot of Blue Jays information and not much else. I also have a podcast called Deep Left Field, which is available wherever finer podcasts are sold, and you can subscribe and sign up to that. And of course, you can follow the rest of Israel's journey on the way to the Olympics at twitch.tv/Israel_baseball. The next broadcast will be Monday night at 6:30 against the New York Boulders from Rockland County, New York. This has just been so much fun. Thank you guys so much for having me. And yeah, what can I tell you? It's a great day at the ballpark.
It's a great day, and we're looking forward to see what's in store next.
So that'll do it for us here at Maimonides Park in Brooklyn, New York on Coney Island. Once again, the final score, Israel 12, New York's bravest 3. For Dave Schwartzman, I'm Mike Wilner. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.